Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. Hope everybody's having a good evening so far. We are going to do a little severe weather coverage tonight, maybe about an hour long or so. I also want to go over what we're going to be seeing tomorrow in terms of severe weather. It's going to be another big day tomorrow with probably a higher chance actually for a tornado threat along with damaging winds and hail. So we'll be going over that a little bit later in this live stream, but I do want to begin with a tornado warning that was actually just recently issued by the National Weather Service. I want to get to this right now. Right now, currently over in southeast parts of Arkansas, this is a brand new tornado warning issued for those near Monticello, if I'm saying the name right. It's moving off to the east-northeast towards Winchester and Reed. So if you're in the track of this, make sure you're seeking shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible. This has some pretty strong rotation right now, by the way, so this isn't a storm to be messing around with by any means. If we go over to the velocities right now, closer to the surface, let's go over to the storm relative velocities, and I'll give you an idea of what we're looking at here. Pretty strong rotation. Let me bring the pen over as well. Here's currently a look at the rotation, though. It's just really centered over Monticello, moving off to the east-northeast. It'll be traveling along areas like Highway 4 and Highway 138. It'll eventually be moving towards areas like Winchester and Reed over the next 15 minutes or so. So again, if you're in this warning, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. And also along with that, we do have a ongoing severe thunderstorm warning just outside of that. Very large warning, goes all the way up to the Mississippi River, currently ongoing for 60-mile-per-hour winds and as well as some small sized hail, so possibly up to dime sized hail. This warning goes until 10:30 tonight, as well as that tornado warning. They both go until 10:30, so make sure again that you're staying away from windows. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour will be possible. Trees could very well get knocked down from this as well, so make sure that you are staying away from windows with this as well. And I just want to mention, obviously this is a pretty emotional stream. If you guys not already heard, I wasn't actually going to go live because of what happened, but prayers to Damar Hamlin. He got injured tonight and it was a very scary situation. I'm not going to try to comment too much on it because I want to be focused on the weather here, but obviously a very emotional situation tonight. Make sure again, prayers for him. It was a very, very scary situation that I witnessed live tonight, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen around the internet tonight as well, the same thing. So I just want to mention that real quick. But again, we're going to be mainly focusing on the weather tonight, and we'll be going over any new tornado warnings and as well as severe thunderstorm warnings. And if I do sound a little bit down, that would be why. Again, it was very, very scary, and it's still, you know, it really hits hard. Obviously, life is much more important than any sport. And again, prayers to Damar Hamlin. Again, really scary situation tonight. All right, let's get to some of the latest reports on the weather as well. Again, for those that have been watching probably all day today, a lot of storms have already happened. We still have a tornado watch ongoing, by the way, for tonight. A couple of them are still remaining. This one does expire at 10 o'clock tonight over in eastern Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. This area, it's likely not going to see any more storms tonight. If anything, the last of the storms right now is northeast of Fort Smith, just north of Interstate 40. That is shifting out of the area. There's no more tornadoes expected in this region tonight. Cold front will also be moving through tonight. I'll have more details on that here in just a second. On the other hand, we still have a tornado watch that was actually just issued recently for southwest parts of Arkansas and northwest parts of Louisiana, and as well as East Texas right now. This goes until 3 a.m. tonight. That is for the possibility for a couple of additional tornadoes already over what we already saw here across the southern plains as well as into the lower Mississippi Valley. Also, the potential for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour does exist. An additional tornado watch is also issued for southeast parts of Arkansas, northeast Louisiana, and as well as extreme western portions of Mississippi for Rosedale, Greenville, Oak Grove, as well as Warren. All those areas are included in this other tornado watch. No difference from the other one. This one goes until 3 a.m. as well, Central Time. Same threats as well. A couple more tornadoes are possible. We already have a tornado warning ongoing, as well as that possibility for damaging winds upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour with a scattered amount of storms. And along with that, there will definitely be a lot of rain out of this. We already have a flash flood watch ongoing. There are upwards of about half a dozen flash flood warnings across really a good chunk of Louisiana right now. Monroe's under one right now, Spring Hill near Shreveport as well. All these areas are under currently flash flood warnings, at least for the next several hours. Again, a lot of rain has already fallen. We're probably going to see an additional upwards half an inch to an inch of rain as that cold front approaches overnight tonight. I'll have more details on that here in just a moment. But let's real quick get back to this tornado warning that is ongoing. Again, strong rotation right now just to the southwest of Winchester and as well as Reed. This is moving off to the northeast. Again, if you're in Winchester or Reed, Arkansas, make sure that you are seeking shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. We are pretty far away from radar sites. It does show a lot of stuff here on the correlation coefficient. However, it's pretty difficult to tell whether this is actually on the ground or not, since again, we are fairly far away from the radar site here. But as of now, this is a radar indicated tornado warning, strong rotation. Again, moving towards Tillar as well as Winchester and Reed in Arkansas. And again, this warning goes until 10:15 Central Time. Severe thunderstorm warning goes until 10:30 Central Time, which is severe thunderstorm warnings for 60-mile-per-hour winds here in parts of southeastern Arkansas. Again, a little bit more of a zoomed out look here. Southeast of Little Rock, dangerous tornado warning, obviously. There's already been a couple of strong tornadoes, it looks like, today, and that will obviously be a possibility here even overnight tonight. Again, some strong rotation with a few of these storms is definitely not out of the question, so definitely something to be monitoring here. All right, also, we're going to be going over tomorrow as well here in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. We'll be going over tomorrow's stuff in terms of severe weather as well. Again, this is for Desha as well as Drew County, Arkansas. That is where that tornado warning is currently issued, currently northeast of McGee as well as south of Dumas. That's going to include areas like Winchester and Reed. All right, let's real quick, before we get too far into the rest of the live coverage, I want to go over what to expect for the rest of tonight and as well as tomorrow. And if you've watched my recent forecasts, obviously this has been in the forecast, this massive trough here over the central United States. It is packing a punch in terms of severe weather, has already today. That will continue tomorrow with very similar threats as in comparison to today. It's going to be very similar tomorrow across the southeast United States. And right now we have a lot of convection out there, ranging from even Chicago region all the way back through the southern half of the United States, back in the lower Mississippi Valley. This will all continue to slowly and gradually move off to the east. Along with that, your trough is back up here. You can see that circulation with the clouds here on the infrared imagery. That is where our trough is currently located. A little bit of snow here on the northern side of that trough as well. So there's a little bit of snow and ice there for those over in the central and northern plains and back through the Midwest. Just had a forecast on that today, so make sure to go check that out. But for the rest of tonight, there is still an enhanced risk of severe weather. This was issued a few hours ago, so just keep that in mind. Things may change as we get closer to the overnight hours here. But for right now, an enhanced risk of severe weather still ongoing. I would pretty much say at this point, the main areas to be concerned with for the rest of tonight will be northern Louisiana back through eastern Arkansas. There will still be a possibility for a couple of severe storms over the overnight hours for those along this cold front. The cold front is still way back here, back over in areas like DFW, but hasn't even reached those areas yet. So there's a possibility for a few storms to form along that cold front. I would expect the intensity of those storms along the cold front to really pick up as it moves closer to Louisiana and Arkansas. I'll show you more on why here in just a second, but for right now, not a whole lot of storm activities along that cold front right now. But overall, the tornado threat is still up there. We might see another strong tornado or two, not out of the question, but I would expect more of a lower threat as we go into the overnight hours. Not zero, but a bit lower than what we've seen so far today. Now, obviously, there is a tornado warning ongoing right now in southeast Arkansas, so obviously there's still a possibility here for maybe an isolated strong tornado. Going through Louisiana's timing for the rest of the night tonight, starting with 10 to 11 o'clock, the line of storms expected kind of develop back over near Center and Shreveport. A lot more rain out of this than anything, but a couple of isolated severe storms not out of the question. By 4 to 5 a.m., there will be a secondary line of storms. This is from that cold front that I was just mentioning that'll move through areas like Monroe and back through Alexandria eventually by about the really late overnight hours into the early morning hours on Tuesday. Eventually by 7, 8 o'clock, not really a whole lot of activity, just a lot of showers, maybe a couple of storms out there. Isolated severe weather still remaining a possibility in the morning, but by the afternoon is when things really ramp up back over in Mississippi and Alabama with the day 2 threat that I'll go over here in just a moment. Back over into Arkansas, storms likely to remain here for the rest of this evening and into the overnight hours. Again, a lot of rain's going to come out of this, so be mindful. Flash flooding not out of the question at this point. Back over in eastern Arkansas, that line of storms will continue to shift off to the east, potentially posing the threat for damaging winds upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour, and eventually going into the overnight hours. Again, this is your first initial line of storms out in front of the cold front. The secondary line of storms will be back here. This is your secondary line right here along the cold front overnight tonight by 4 a.m. So if you're seeing storms right now, don't think you're not going to see more tonight, because again, that cold front, there'll be some storms that initiate there. That'll be definitely something to watch for overnight tonight for those over in Arkansas. Arkansas. By the morning, most of Arkansas should be cleared out just after sunrise tomorrow. So overall, it looks to be a little bit nicer, a little bit drier as well, and hopefully recovery efforts go well there. It doesn't seem like they've had too many tornadoes there today, but obviously definitely something to be mindful of. There was at least a few today, especially in northern portions of Louisiana. Going through areas like Mississippi and Alabama, again, it's going to be more of a morning threat tomorrow. We're going to begin with a little line of storms back over to the west, primarily in western sections of Mississippi. By around lunchtime is when we could begin to have some storms fire up. These could be potentially capable of all modes of severe weather, including an enhanced risk for a tornado threat. So this will be an area to watch for very closely. Might even see a few along that cold front as well that kind of strengthen going into the afternoon hours on Tuesday. By about 3 to 4 o'clock, a lot of storms out there, especially in areas like southern Alabama and Mississippi, where again we could see that risk for tornadoes existing in those regions along with damaging winds. By the evening and overnight hours, a lot of storms still being possible. The cold front won't really move through these areas until the overnight hours, so we could still see some severe weather all the way through the evening and even into the overnight hours for those in Alabama. Eventually going into the morning, storms shift over into Georgia. There is an enhanced risk for severe weather right now, and obviously there's a slight risk along with that, but the enhanced risk includes areas from around Jackson back through about Birmingham. Those areas are the main locations included right now. Enhanced risk though for southern and central Alabama, southern Mississippi, and eastern Louisiana. Slight risk all the way back through central Tennessee, goes into western Georgia and as well as eastern Louisiana for tonight. And the tornado threat is still there. Again, strong tornadoes are not out of the question tomorrow either. We may see a couple of those across that yellow shaded region. That hatched area represents a 10% chance within a 25-mile radius of a strong tornado, which means EF2 or greater. So we'll have to watch that area very closely tomorrow for the possibility for a couple of strong tornadoes. So again, I already went over the timing for Mississippi and Alabama. You can go back like 10 seconds. I literally just did that. But going a little bit further to the north, going into tomorrow, we're going to see some shower and storm activity really ramp up in the morning for those in central and western Tennessee back through Kentucky. Kentucky won't really be talking about much in terms of severe weather. Maybe an isolated storm being severe, possibly some gusty winds, or maybe some 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds would be about all for those that far to the north. But eventually going closer to lunchtime, that line continues to roll through areas like Kentucky, all the way back through Ohio, and even still in Tennessee. And eventually by the afternoon hours, some scattered showers and storms may develop behind that initial area, but most of those shouldn't be too severe. Just isolated damaging winds again would be my only concern out of those. And overnight, we'll have another area of storms most likely roll through. A lot more rain out of that system more than anything, most likely going into the overnight hours Tuesday into Wednesday morning, but definitely something to be watching for very closely, where we could definitely see some strong, maybe an isolated severe storm. Also going into the following day on Wednesday, there is a marginal threat from North Carolina back through Florida. Damaging winds, isolated large hail, isolated brief tornado are my only concerns, excuse me. Also for rainfall over the upcoming days, this is really primarily for what we're going to see in the next 24 to 48 hours. A lot more rain is still to come. We could see some areas along the Mississippi Valley get upwards of 1 to 3 inches of rain. So just be mindful. Again, flash flooding is definitely a concern tonight with the storms that we are seeing. Now going back over to our live radar, again, we do have a tornado warning currently ongoing. For those over in southeast Arkansas, that is our only tornado warning ongoing. Again, this is going to include areas like Reed and Winchester. From the latest, it has not been confirmed. It is just radar indicated rotation. It is not the strongest that we've seen, but it is still there. I mean, there's definitely still some moderate rotation. We are kind of far away from the radar site, so just keep that in mind. It looks very pixelated here. That would explain why, but there is definitely still some rotation here. We could, again, see a tornado at any time, but for right now, correlation coefficient is not showing anything very definitive here with this tornado warning, but we will be monitoring this storm very closely as it continues to track out to the north and east. We also have now a brand new tornado warning that was just issued for those over in Dumas, Gold, and just north of Winchester. So a warning just to the north here. This is in southeast Arkansas. Again, this is another situation where you want to make sure you seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. This storm, again, is right now moving off to the northeast. Gold and Dumas, as well as near Watson, will be in the track of this. Going over to the velocities right now, I'm not seeing anything too strong here, but again, this could tighten at any time. We have a favorable environment here with a strong low-level jet to be able to help rotate these cells as they track out to the north and east. And again, it's kind of embedded in a line of storms. It's not discrete, so it might be a little bit more difficult for these storms to rotate and gain traction in terms of rotation. However, I wouldn't rule out, again, a tornado even potentially being strong tonight, embedded with one of these clusters or lines of storms as they continue to track out to the east towards areas like Mississippi. So again, latest tornado warning, we have now 2 ongoing. One for those near Golden, Watson, Jackson and Winchester and Reed. And again, those are the 2 tornado warnings that we have ongoing right now across the state of Southeast Arkansas. So again, make sure you're keeping that in mind there. Alrighty. Thank you, Richard, for becoming a VIP Chaser member. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. I appreciate your support. Thank you, Squidward, for the $2 super chat as well. I appreciate you a lot. And thank you, Sun Summer, for the $10.10 super chat. Interesting number. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the support. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome on in. I hope everybody's having a good night so far. Obviously, tough situation from earlier tonight. If you guys already see my Twitter and whatnot, I've been kind of tweeting about it. But yeah, again, the Damar Hamlin situation is obviously very scary. That was the main reason why I did not go live sooner than this. But again, prayers for him. And yeah, hope he's okay, because that was a very scary situation. I watched that happen live. It was scary. All right. Austin, Texas is not going to see anything for the rest of the night, sign. You're good. And yeah, if we actually go back to the cold front here, again, this is the severe weather ongoing right now in the southern plains. If we do zoom out just a little bit here, though, let's go ahead and put on the frontal boundaries here. Let me just go and kind of put this on here. And here's the frontal boundary. It's actually not this far to the west, but the front right now, the cold front, is probably right about here. So this is where we're going to see the possibility for a couple of storms maybe to fire up later tonight. This will be the second round of storms, primarily for Louisiana and Arkansas. And if we go over to the radar here, we might get a better idea. Yeah, the cold front's probably right about here right now, but we are really seeing, again, a couple of showers and storms beginning to kind of form along that cold frontal boundary. One just west of Waco, a little downpour, nothing really beyond that. But once this moves further to the west, or further to the east, excuse me, there'll be a better chance for some of these storms to potentially produce the threat for maybe some damaging winds and maybe some hail, possibly a brief tornado or two as well, along that second round of storms, which for those in Arkansas, they've pretty much already seen 1 round of storms, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. I mean, it's been ongoing all day today with just how much moisture we have, the convection. It's a very interesting convective setup with how messy these storms have been too. They've not been really organized by any means for the most part today. The only organization that we're seeing right now is really with this one little cluster, kind of a small line here of storms that has developed in southeast Arkansas. And really the big thing with this is it's organized. The other ones aren't really organized right now across the rest of the state. With organized systems like this, we can see more of a situation where we have a possibility for tornadoes. So this is obviously a situation to watch for very closely tonight. And across the entire southern plains and lower Mississippi Valley, it is definitely gonna be something to monitor very closely, because again, we very well could see the potential for a couple of tornadoes, especially in these areas that have more organization than the others, because there's a lot more rain and just a lot of a messy setup across the rest of the state right now. So that is definitely something you want to be keeping in mind as well, because I mean, you can look at this is pretty organized, but if you go back over here like Little Rock, it's just a big jumbled area of rain right now. It's not organized, and obviously it does not seem like this area will get much of any organization here over the next little while. So just a little kind of heads up there. Alrighty. Hey, King Cheese, how you doing? Welcome back. Hey, Emma, how you doing? How much snow do I expect you to get in Wyoming, Minnesota? If you're in the southern half of Minnesota, you could possibly get upwards of 8 to 12 inches. It's not out of the question, but yeah, I would say 8 to 12 inches is probably a pretty realistic range for southern Minnesota if you're kind of in that area. But there's a possibility for ice along with that too, so something else to watch for as well. Hey AJ, how you doing? No problem, Strawberry. Illinois should just be primarily rain tonight. There shouldn't be anything too severe or anything like that. You should be fine. All right, let's go back to these tornado warnings back over in Winchester, Reed, and Gold. I'm on the right. All right, I'm on the right screen. Let me fix this warning thing real quick. But again, currently we have 2 tornado warnings ongoing, along with that severe thunderstorm warning in southeast Arkansas. Current velocities, again, we do have a little bit of rotation here just north of Winchester along Route 165 or Highway 165, all the way back through, again, the areas of Gold through Reed are under tornado warnings. Again, you're a couple of areas of rotation. We got one here on the northern side of Winchester. We also have another area of more of, I would say, high winds here just south of Gold. Not really anything too strong in terms of rotation right now with with this specific warning on the northern side, but again, this could very well strengthen at any time as it continues to move off to the north and east. For right now, though, it's more, it seems like, of a wind concern, but again, could very well strengthen at any time into a tornadic supercell. So again, make sure you get to your safe place immediately, away from windows and lowest floor possible, and get there as quick as possible. If you're anywhere in this warning, Watson's gonna be on the track of this as well over the next several minutes. Again, the main areas included in all these warnings: Winchester, Tillar, Selma, as well as Pickens, Gold, Gillette, as well as, I think, Watson. Just the northern half of Watson's included. Other than that, the actual city, it looks like, or at least the town of Watson, is not included in this warning. But if you're in the northern half of it, you are included in that warning right now. So yeah, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. If we go over to the velocities as well in this storm, there are some high winds. We are still talking about possibly 50 to 60 mile per hour winds here south of Gold. So there's at least some damaging winds involved with this if there isn't to be a tornado. So just, again, make sure you're staying away from windows. Trees could very well fall down from that as this storm continues to march out to the east and northeast. Let's go back over to here real quick, and let's do that. Right, and let's go back and zoom in on this for now. Also, I'm going to get some of the reports from earlier today. I haven't really gone over those quite yet. So far today, we've had only 2, which this, I say only because it was actually expected to be more. We've had 2 tornado reports so far today. I do think there's been more than 2. I don't think there's just been 2 tornadoes. I think there's at least been a few. But for right now, there have been only 2 tornadoes reported today. That was near Jonesboro, Louisiana, but again, I do think there's at least a few more than that. I've heard a lot more reports than just 2. That's at least what the Storm Prediction Center's website says. Wind damage has been reported in sections like northern Louisiana as well as southern portions of Arkansas. So those are the main areas right now that we have a lot of damage reports. There's also been one west of the area of Little Rock. It sounds like there's been multiple reports of damage to homes from earlier today back over in Jesseville. That's in Garland County, Arkansas. So we've had that report today as well. We also had a wind gust report of 81 miles per hour over in Mays County, Oklahoma. That is just off to the northeast of Tulsa. So there's actually been an 81 mile per hour wind gust report from today. That was a thunderstorm wind gust. That was not a tornadic wind gust by the sounds of it. So yeah, those are our main really reports so far today. We had a few reports of hail primarily in eastern Oklahoma, which is kind of expected. Hail threat was not really supposed to be much today. But yeah, so far today, honestly, a lot of good news. We haven't had as many tornadoes as at least forecasted. And I would say a lot of that has to just do with how much convection is out there today. I mean, it is just such a messy setup. And it has been since really a few days ago. I mean, this was expected to not be a clear-cut sort of extreme super, outbreak that we possibly saw back on December 11th, for example. This is very messy. If you just look at the radar and the reflectivity, there's a lot of rain out there. This is nothing in comparison to what we saw back on December 11th, where there was organized supercells and whatnot. And even this area that's organized, it's still struggling with all the rain around it. It's not able to really have a good inflow for a tornadic supercell either. So I would expect this is going to be more of a brief threat if there were to be any tornadoes here. And if we go back over to the velocities, they are glitched out here, but I think I can get a better view here. Yeah, so again, we do have a little bit of rotation, maybe strengthening back up near Gold right now. So if you're in Gold, again, get to your safe place immediately. And back over near Winchester, does seem like the rotation is now northeast of you and it's moving towards Watson. We'll see if they issue a new tornado warning. The one right now that's ongoing goes for 9 more minutes, so we'll see what happens there. But a couple of different pockets here of rotation that we're watching here in the state of Arkansas, again, southeast Arkansas for right now. All right, let me get some chat questions. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. And if you're new here, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you've not already. Again, we'll be live here probably for about a good hour or so. That'll be probably the maximum I'll probably do tonight. Just with what's already happened today, it's been unbelievable. But everybody's having a good night so far. All right, let's go over here real quick. And by the way, if you're over in most of North Texas is pretty much done for tonight. I know we've had a lot of questions about North Texas specifically. North Texas, for the most part tonight, is done with severe weather. You might get an isolated severe storm, but the threat should remain low tonight. So just a little heads up there for those over in North Texas tonight. If you're over in Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, all those areas right now are currently still in that risk for severe weather tonight. So just keep that in mind. Hey, Virginia, how you doing? Yeah, lack of rain. I know there wasn't much rain in North Texas today. Honestly, it was kind of one of those situations I've been mentioning on Facebook a lot. It was really going to be either a hit or miss event for North Texas, and it ended up being a miss. So, yeah, again, it was one of those kind of situations where the cap came into play, which was expected, and it obviously was kind of a situation where nothing really developed. So, obviously good news for no severe weather, bad news that we didn't really get any rain, but there is some good news there. I mean, we're not really in a drought right now in North Texas for the most part, at least DFW isn't. So there is no drought there for right now. So a little bit of good news there. Hey Sailor, how you doing? I know this is a late stream. I usually don't go live this late. It's like, what time is it? 10 o'clock? 11 o'clock? Depends on where you're at. 10 o'clock in the central, or well, yeah, central United States is 10 o'clock. Is there a medium chance for tornadoes in Jonesboro, Louisiana? Let me figure out where that is first. I'm pretty sure any threat, though, for the rest of the night in Louisiana will be low. But let me just double check. I need to figure out where that is. That's central north. Yeah, so it's going to be a low threat. The next possibility for a tornado threat in that part of Louisiana, let me just kind of go further down to the south here. We're going to take off this radar, go back over to this for now. The next chance for anything in that sort of realm would be that secondary area of storms here and potentially along that cold front. But the threat does seem to be pretty low for the rest of the night. You are still included in that tornado watch, but I would probably say at this point that you're in the lower kind of scale here. A couple more tornadoes possible, but again, the organization with these storms tonight has been very lackluster, which has led to really a lot less tornadoes than forecasted, which again, very good news there. So, really good stuff there, but obviously definitely an event to watch for the rest of the night tonight into the overnight hours. So again, have multiple ways to receive alerts. Do not rely on social media for your alerts. I've had a lot of people wondering like what's the best way to do it. Make sure you get a phone app like the Weather Channel app. That's a great way to get watches and warnings issued to your phone. Really any news station app, if you turn on post notifications and all that, that's a great way. Also get a weather radio. Weather radios are also a great way to do it. They can really help you get that information in a really quick second. I mean, again, if you have a weather radio right next to your bed overnight, it buzzes off. That's when you have to seek shelter. So it's always a good thing to have that sort of stuff as well. Just be prepared for the rest of the night tonight, and have a plan in place. It's really important as well if you do get into a warning, because I'm guessing if you wake up at 3 a.m. to a tornado warning, you're not going to want to have to panic last second to figure out where to go to take shelter if there were to be a tornado warning. So it is always a good thing to have a plan in place now and not later. Yeah, we are monitoring 2 tornado warnings right now in southeast Arkansas, one near Gold. Again, rotation has remained on the weaker side for a little bit. It is starting to ramp up just a little bit there near Gold. So again, make sure you're getting to your safe place. Latest radar update just came in, and this is where that rotation is now. It's near 114, moving towards 144 near Gillette. That's going to be the next area and track of this area of rotation. We also have another very small area of rotation back out just to the west of Watson. So again, make sure you're staying in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. No new additional tornado warning for this little area of rotation, but it is going into this new tornado warning, so that might be noted in the tornado warning here that there's 2 areas of rotation, but the one here near Watson is a bit weaker than the one near Gold, so just a little heads up there. So again, stronger rotation right now near 114, moving off to the northeast at about a good 40 miles per hour. I'm pretty sure it's actually estimated at 55 miles per hour. I'm not sure how accurate that is. Let me I wouldn't be surprised, but again, let's go with 50 to 55 miles per hour. I thought it was about 40, but right now 50 to 55 miles per hour off to the northeast. Let's go and put a little timeline on this area of storms as well, and give you an idea if you're in the track of this long term. Again, this is the most organized area of storms right now tonight, so we'll be watching this really closely. Anything that does become organized will have the best chance for the potential for any mode of severe weather, including tornadoes. So let's go and kind of put a long-term track on this. I'll have to zoom out just a little bit here. So here's the timing for you anywhere in front of this. So again, we're in southeast Arkansas, and let me figure out how to put this on the screen. We have so many big words here. So overall, again, in southeast Arkansas, that's where the line of storms is right now. It'll eventually move over the Mississippi Valley here right around 10:45, 11 o'clock, most likely. Unless you're down this direction, it'll actually be much sooner, around 10:30. So just depending on where you are, line of storms right now is moving off to the northeast, more of a cluster, but it's moving off to the northeast right now. Areas that are in the track of this do include DeWitt, Rosedale, Shelby at 10:45, areas like Mount Bayou right around 10:47, Clarksdale 11:03, West Helena right around 11:12, Helena right around 11:15, Marks 11:23, as well as Batesville 11:43, and we'll eventually be talking about Sardis right around 11:48, and Hernando right around 11:59. So that's the timing as of right now. Again, this line will be probably at least staying fairly strong for a little while. It might weaken as it kind of goes over the Mississippi Valley. That's kind of what we've been hinting at here for a little while with these storms. They will weaken a little bit more that are out in front of the cold front, but we'll see more activity grow overnight tonight, and areas like western Mississippi will be waking up most likely to some thunder and lightning. Also, there is now I believe a new tornado watch that was just issued by the National Weather Service that does include areas in western Tennessee. So Dyersburg, Jackson, Memphis, Clarksdale are all included in a brand new tornado watch that is, I believe, just been issued. Let me just double check that. Yeah, new tornado watch is just issued here for parts of Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee until 4 a.m. tonight, Central Time. A few tornadoes are possible, along with isolated quarter-sized hail being possible. Obviously, the tornado concern and damaging winds are our two biggest concerns here in western parts of Tennessee, back through eastern Arkansas and northwest Mississippi until 4 a.m. tonight. But along with that, there's a possibility, again, for some damaging winds upwards of 70 miles per hour. Main locations include Henderson, Bolivar, Jackson, as well as Dyersburg, Ripley, Atoka, and Memphis in Tennessee. Then back over to Arkansas, Forest City and Helena are the two main locations in Arkansas that were just issued into this tornado watch. Batesville, Holly Springs, and Clarksdale are the other locations included in Mississippi for this brand new tornado watch. So again, make sure that you are having a plan in place tonight. Have a way to receive alerts, have at least two, so at least have one reliable way to get it in case one goes out or something like that. So have 2 ways to receive alerts tonight, just in case there are any warnings in your location overnight tonight, and have a plan in place before going to bed tonight as well. Update, by the way, on the tornado warning here for Arkansas County as well as Desha County and Lincoln County. That's this one. It has shrunk down, so gold is not included in this tornado warning any longer. The rotation has just moved off here to the northeast over the last few minutes. I would anticipate that the rotation is more likely up here now, just southwest of 144. Again, moving off to the northeast towards Gillette over the next several minutes. So we'll be monitoring this storm very closely as it continues to track out to the northeast. Hey, Chamber, how you doing? Welcome. Thank you, Kim's, by the way, for subscribing. Kim, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Hey, no problem, Nisha. No problem. My pleasure. The lightning here is bad. Where are you at? Yeah, there's a lot of lightning with these storms. Let me just see if I can find an area where I actually pull that up. Yeah, there's a lot of lightning with these storms. They're highly electrified. There is a lot of storm activity out there, so it would kind of explain why here. And yeah, if we're getting a general gist here, there's lightning as far north as areas like Indiana and Illinois. Right now, about 538 strikes per minute. The majority of that is currently in southern Arkansas as well as into East Texas. So there's a lot of lightning out there for sure right now. Yeah, there's a lot of lightning. So yeah, 436 strikes per minute right now in central southern Arkansas back through East Texas. Those are the two areas that we have a lot of lightning in right now. So yeah, a lot of lightning for sure. All right, let's go back over to the velocities. By the way, tornado warning has just expired, or actually, yeah, just expired for Winchester and just southwest of Watson. So that tornado warning is no longer ongoing. Last one that we have remaining for right now is currently near Gillette as well as north of Watson. So again, make sure that you are seeking shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. This is where the velocities are strongest right now. It's kind of a large area here, but it's kind of more defined, I would say, just southwest of Gillette. If we go back over to the reflectivity value, so it's likely going to be a rain wrap tornado, so you're not going to be able to see it if you're looking out your door. But if you're southwest of Gillette, make sure again that you're staying away from windows and staying at the lowest floor possible as this tornado warning cell just continue to move off to the northeast. But there is definitely some stronger rotation there, and there's a little bit of an inflow on the back side of this, which might be able to aid a possible brief tornado as this moves off to the north and east. Over the next several minutes. Again, if we go back to the velocities, here's a look at it right now. Again, this cell right now moving off to the northeast. Gillette is the main location included in the track of this over the next several minutes. So we'll be watching this storm very closely as it moves off to the northeast. Here, Jasper, yeah, there's a lot of lightning with these storms, and that's not surprising by any means. I mean, again, we had this sort of setup, this convective setup, obviously very messy. There's a lot of storms. This is not obviously the only one. If we go over just the storms in general right now across just Arkansas, for example, I mean, you can pick out a load of these storms that have a lot of lightning. Most of the ones that do have lightning are on the southern tier of the state, so El Dorado, Greenville, Texarkana. Those areas have the most lightning in terms of these storms, but there's definitely a decent chunk of lightning as well back near Little Rock. So there's a couple areas there with a lot of lightning, and also the little area of storms coming out of Texas right now also has a decent chunk of lightning, upwards of about 200 strikes per minute with this cluster of storms here, and it's primarily with this one actually just west of Shreveport. And again, this is going to add on to the flooding that we already have ongoing in these areas in western Louisiana. There's already been some flooding near Shreveport and Benton. Again, there's a lot of areas included in flash flood warnings, so just be mindful of that. Again, more rain is coming tonight, and we have yet to see the cold front even roll through. The cold front is still way back out here to the west. It's west of Dallas still, so it has not even yet rolled through areas in Louisiana. This was all stuff that happened out in front of the cold front, so really something to be mindful of here tonight. If you're in Louisiana and as well as Arkansas, Mississippi, you guys aren't done yet by any means, or will be done anytime soon, because this cold front will spawn some storms later tonight. Probably not in DFW, but these will likely start to ramp up as this line, or that cold front, excuse me, gets closer to areas like Louisiana and Arkansas. And we'll begin to see some ramp up of more storms overnight tonight, which will add on to the rain that we've already seen, which we very well could have some areas getting upwards of 4 to 5 inches of rain when this is all said and done. So a lot of rain is still to come. This is obviously not the only rain that we'll see tonight. We're definitely going to see a lot more from where that came from, with the cold front still not yet having arrived here to the state of either Arkansas or Louisiana. So definitely something to be mindful of here tonight. All right, back over to the tornado warning. Actually, we have a brand new tornado warning back up into Kentucky. This is an area that has not seen a tornado warning yet today. And this is near Water Valley, Wingo, south of Mayfield, Kentucky. Again, this is a brand new tornado warning. Let's go over to the latest on the velocities. This is loading in right now, it looks like. Let me try to load this in. But again, this is right now Water Valley, South Fulton, Wingo. Those areas are included in this brand new tornado warning right now in southwest Kentucky. Look at this rotation. This is fairly strong rotation right now near South Fulton. Trying to get back over to the reflectivity as well to give you an idea of where that storm is. Again, get to your safe place immediately if you're in these areas in Kentucky. And for some reason, my radar wants to glitch out now. Let's go back over to here. This is the storm right now near South Fulton and Water Valley, moving off to the northeast. Again, southwest Kentucky, south of Mayfield, Kentucky are included in this tornado warning. Again, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible if you're included in this warning. This is now our second tornado warning here, not an area that has seen a tornado warning yet today. So this is definitely something that's a bit new. This is how strong the rotation is right now, by the way, near Highway 45E. It's again moving off to the northeast, so it is crossing over from Tennessee into Kentucky. Make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible as this storm continues to move off to the northeast. Again, if you've not already, make sure to hit the like button down below so this does get out to more people. Again, dangerous storm here that is tornado warned again in Kentucky. This is including Fulton County as well as South Fulton County and Sedalia County in Kentucky. So those are the areas included right now. Strong rotation approaching areas into southwest Kentucky right now, south of Water Valley and Wingo. Very well could see a tornado happen here at any time. Thank you, by the way, KJ, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Hey guys, I was originally not going to go live just due to what happened tonight, but man, it was really emotional tonight, but I'm glad I did. Obviously, this is a very dangerous situation that we have down here currently south of Fulton. Let's go back over. The next radar update is going to come in, it looks like, in just a moment. So we're going to stay on the velocities here for just a second, and we'll get an update there. And if the rotation is still fairly strong, and it really is, we're going to go over to the correlation coefficient. We might have a tornado on the ground. If not, there is very strong rotation that very well could prompt a tornado at any time. For now, the correlation coefficient is not indicating a tornado on the ground, but again, we could see one at any time here. This is very strong rotation moving into Kentucky right now, moving towards 129, 94, 385, and 118. Those areas all included right now in this tornado warning in southwest Kentucky. Very strong rotation right now moving off to the northeast. Again, make sure you get to your safe place immediately away from windows and lowest floor possible if you are included again in this warning, as this is some very dangerous rotation that we're seeing here moving off to the northeast. So again, get to your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home. is what you've got to do right now if you're included in this warning. Very, very dangerous situation that we're watching here. Again, not on the ground in terms of radar confirmed or observed at this point, but again, it could happen at any time. This is possibly the strongest rotation that we've seen here for a little while. I mean, we haven't seen much strong rotation on the storms in Arkansas. This one clearly has very tight and confined rotation here near South Fulton, moving off to the northeast. So again, this is the current live view of that rotation. The rotation is most likely now near areas near 94W in southeastern Water Valley. Again, just as a reminder, this is south of Mayfield, Kentucky. So this is an area that has seen tornadoes relatively strong before. This is definitely an area to watch for very closely as this rotation continues to unfold. Very strong rotation right now, moving off to the northeast. And next radar update, by the way, should be coming in here momentarily. The velocities obviously have been updating, it seems like, pretty frequently here in southern Kentucky. So I'll have an update here in just a second on that. For now, there is a new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, for Phillips, Arkansas, and Coma County, Mississippi. Those two areas are now included in a new severe thunderstorm warning. Tornado possible on that warning, but main concern right now is damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour in that brand new warning. We are going to keep a very close eye on this warning. That's probably what we're going to be mainly focusing on here for the next few minutes, unless new developments come in. But this is a very dangerous storm that we're watching here. Moving off to the northeast, again, strong rotation south of Mayfield, Kentucky. If we zoom out just a little bit here, this is kind of in comparison to where we're at. So south of Mayfield, south of Interstate 69, near areas like Water Valley, and it is moving off quickly to the northeast here. This is the latest radar scan. Strong rotation still remaining here near South Fulton. If we go back over to the reflectivity, that is where that rotation is. It's not necessarily rain wrapped from the east side of this, but it definitely is a possibility that we could see a tornado here at any time. Correlation coefficient is not definitively picking up on any debris, but again, we could see a tornado at any given moment with this storm. Could even happen in between radar scans, but really a big concern right now is how strong this rotation is on the cell in an area that, again, is not even in a tornado watch right now. So just something to also keep in mind here. This isn't even in the tornado watch. Closest tornado watch to this is back over in areas like Arkansas, as well as even Tennessee. Western Tennessee is the closest area right now included in a tornado watch here for this sort of activity. So another thing to just kind of keep in the back of your head there. Again, very dangerous situation though that we're watching here potentially unfolding. All right. Yeah, these updates are coming in pretty quick on the velocities. Yeah, we'll keep you posted as this continues to unfold here. Yeah, this is currently southwest Kentucky, Joes. Yeah, current strong rotation, southwest Kentucky, south of Water Valley. We are watching this unfold very quickly here. Just for comparison, by the way, back down here is where we have most of the tornado, or obviously one tornado warning, along with several severe thunderstorm warnings. But again, the biggest concern right now is this storm that is having some fairly strong rotation here. It is, again, really just crossing over right now into Kentucky. And again, there's been some fairly strong rotation for a little while here. This is the main pocket of rotation, is near Highway 94W. Just southeast of Water Valley. This is the rotation. Let me go back over to the storm relative velocities here. This is the main pocket of rotation. Did seem to weaken a little bit here in this latest scan, which is good news. This is the latest radar scan here. Not nearly as tight and confined as what we just saw on the last radar scan at about 10:21 p.m. So this is the 10:24 p.m. radar scan. Rotation is slightly stronger, or excuse me, slightly weaker here on the latest scan. So a little bit of good news there. We'll see if that trend does continue or not. Again, this is south of Mayfield, Kentucky for reference. So it's an area that has been impacted by severe storms like this in the past, obviously. We saw the Mayfield tornado back in 2021. So that was obviously a significant situation there. New severe thunderstorm warning was just issued for Arkansas, Desha, as well as Monroe counties in Arkansas. 60-mile-per-hour winds possible there. Bolivar County in Mississippi was just also issued into a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. So again, several severe thunderstorm warnings are right now coming in there in those areas. Monitoring those areas as well pretty closely, as the storm again continues to move off to the north and east. All right, let's go back over to here real quick. Again, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and like the stream if you've not already. Helps us get out to more people that are in the track of these dangerous storms. We'll be live as long as there is a tornado warning. This stream was originally supposed to be an hour, but we might go a little bit longer here. Again, Graves County, Kentucky is the main area included right now in this tornado warning. Has just been condensed, so South Fulton is no longer included in the tornado warning. Rotation is currently centered at Highway 94W, moving off to the northeast. Oh, Jaws, are you in Kentucky? I didn't even realize. Hopefully you stay safe. I don't know if you're anywhere near it, but yeah, this is currently in southwest Kentucky. It's south of Mayfield, Kentucky, like south of Interstate 69. Now just east of Highway 45 south as well, so. We have a donut hole on reflectivity. I can take a look here. Yeah, there's a little, I mean, if you're talking about this, there is a little hole there, but let's go back to here. So this is the latest radar scan. Velocities, again, in comparison to the correlation coefficient, nothing definitive is on the ground. Look at this rotation. It just strengthened again east of Water Valley. So latest radar scan here is just really strengthened. Correlation coefficient, again, is not picking up on a tornado per se. But again, we could see one at any time. Strong rotation right now near 94W, going towards 129 in southwest Kentucky, just to the east-southeast of Water Valley. Again, moving off to the northeast. So again, make sure you get to your safe place immediately, away from windows and lowest floor possible. For those that are in Kentucky, I'm going to give you a little track here and give you an idea of where this is going to be heading, just so you get an idea of where you might, if you might be in the track of this storm or not. So we're going to put a little track on here. Kind of general here, but or a bit more specific than we usually do. So Murray at 10:53, Hardin 10:54, Cat is 11:26, Hopkinsville 11:49, eventually Pembroke 10:50, or excuse me 11:56, and Elkton 12:10. So those are the areas included again in the track of this ongoing tornado warning cell with very strong rotation just to the south right now of Mayfield, Kentucky, moving off to the east northeast. So again, make sure you get to your safe place immediately, away from windows and lowest floor possible. It's primarily right now east southeast of Water Valley and south of Wingo. Not a whole lot of locations included in this warning right now, but it will be going towards more populated areas as this continues to track out to the east northeast. So we'll have to be watching this very closely. Again, this is radar indicated rotation. Next towns included in this that are in this warning right now do include Farmington, Lindsville, Bell City, and Sedalia. So those are the locations included. They're all kind of over the place here. We got about 4 of them here. So these are the 4 areas included. Again, rotation is fairly strong right now along 94. I would not be surprised if we see a tornado drop at any time with this storm. And again, south of Mayfield, Kentucky is where that strong rotation is right now ongoing. Latest radar update should be coming in here in just a moment to give us an update on that rotation. But again, strong velocities here, moving off to the east-northeast. Hopkinsville is in the track of this in about an hour, but obviously in an hour from now, this storm might not be nearly as strong as it is right now. So just keep that in mind. It very well might be a bit weaker than this. Anyway, by the way, Dalton as well as John and Eric for subscribing. I appreciate it. Didn't know Memphis was included. Memphis is in a tornado watch until 4 a.m. tonight. So yes, you are included in that threat for the rest of tonight. Here's the latest radar update on the velocities. It does seem like the rotation is strongest now along 129. Correlation coefficient, again, nothing definitive in terms of a tornado being on the ground right now. This scan, though, from the correlation coefficient was at about 1027. So we are a couple minutes delayed on this. But the rotation is still very strong here. Again, strongest rotation is right now located near 129. So again, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. If you're near Water Valley, again, this is south of Mayfield, Kentucky. It is not heading directly towards Mayfield, Kentucky, though. So just kind of keep that in mind there. It's not heading directly that direction. It is moving off, likely going to be staying to your south, but it will be moving off to the east-northeast/northeast. So it might go on the southeast side and possibly, but it would probably be kind of on the very far southeast side if it were to go that far to the north. But we'll keep a close eye on this as it continues to move off to the east and northeast. New severe thunderstorm warning as well for Arkansas, Desha, Drew, and Lincoln counties in Nebraska, or excuse me, in Arkansas. I don't know why I was about to say Nebraska. Those areas included for a 60-mile-per-hour wind threat and quarter-sized hail, and that's again over in Arkansas. We have several warnings down there. Most of them are just severe. We're going to be primarily focused on the tornado warning ongoing here, again with very strong rotation. Yeah, again, this is strong rotation for sure. This is not anything weak by any means that we're watching here. So and make sure that you are seeking shelter away from windows low as far as possible. We have a couple of updates here, actually. Let's go back over to the reflectivity real quick. A couple things to keep in mind. The rotation on the northern half of this storm has weakened a little bit, and it has now glitched out my radar, so we have to refresh this. There we go. So yeah, the rotation has weakened a bit. This is the main area of rotation here. It's gonna be kind of on this northern side. We have a little bit of rotation down near 94W and the 129 intersection as well. Latest update though, slightly weaker rotation now, so that's some good news there. Just keep that in mind. A little bit of weaker rotation, but again, stay in your safe place, because again, this could very well strengthen again. No definitive evidence so far that there's been a tornado with this cell. Correlation coefficient has not shown any debris up to this point, but again, we may have seen a tornado in between scans. That's definitely not out of the question, but a couple of little spots to watch for. One on the very southern end of this storm, back down near 118. Another little pocket here near 129. Those are a couple of spots there of rotation right now. Again, moving off to the east-northeast currently, so still definitely a lot of rotation there. Not nearly as strong again as the last scan, but there's definitely notable rotation, to say the least, as that continues to move off to the east-northeast/northeast, kind of in that general direction. Specifically degree-wise, it's right around 50 to 55 degrees northeast, so take it with a grain of salt. I keep saying northeast and east-northeast. It's in between both of them right now. It's not either one right now. It's kind of in between. So that's the current direction of this. Again, areas included do include Farmington, as well as Lineville and Bell City. Those are the locations right now in the track of this tornado warning cell in southwest Kentucky, again, south of Mayfield right now. That is where this tornado warning is right now ongoing. A little bit of a cycling stage right now for sure. I mean, it has cycled a couple times. A couple of indications of stronger rotation have been there during this event, or during this warning, I should say, and very well could see that happen again here anytime. So we'll have to watch it pretty closely. Again, if you're just tuning in for the first time, friendly reminder, hit the like button down below. We are very close to 200 likes. Helps us get out to more people that are in the track of these warnings. And also, hit the subscribe button down below. We do live streams like this all the time. We will keep you updated with the latest on everything that you need to know ahead of the storms. And again, this is a pretty dangerous storm that we're watching, moving off to the east-northeast right now. So we'll be monitoring it very closely. But again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. I'll be answering a few of them here throughout the stream. And yeah. All right, over to here. All right, latest radar update just came in here. Let's go back over to the storm relative velocities. And wow, man, this rotation now in the southern half of the storm is even stronger. So strong rotation now ongoing near 94W. This isn't the initial area of rotation, by the way. This is a secondary area. This is the initial one, which does seem to have weakened out at this point. Stronger rotation, though, now near really along 94W. This is the radar. So again, that's a little, like, kind of like little donut hole, if you will, right now located near 94. This is, again, the velocities. Let's go back over to the correlation coefficient. And we'll see if there's any sort of debris being detected here by the radar or not. Should load here in just a second. Radar's been awfully slow tonight on loading. Try that again. So yeah, again, correlation coefficient not showing anything right now in terms of a tornado, but strong rotation, again, is still ongoing near 94W. Again, this is going to be heading towards areas like Ball City, east of Water Valley, south of Wingo, and southwest Kentucky. Again, south of Mayfield, Kentucky, to be specific. Those areas right now included in this ongoing tornado warning. So again, seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. This is, again, a pretty strong rotating supercell moving off to the east-northeast. Dangerous for sure. With how strong this rotation is, it does seem to keep ramping up in different areas. The first one was initially back up here. It has weakened out at this point. This is our new area of rotation. Very strong, by the way. And it is, again, moving closer to areas like Ball City over the next several minutes. It'll be heading towards 1382 and 94E. And obviously, it's along 94. That's where the main pocket of rotation is. And again, Ball City, I think, is the main area in the track, as well as Lineville, Farmington, and Sedalia. Those areas are right now in the track of this ongoing tornado warning cell. Again, that is your rotation located right there near 129. So again, seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. We'll keep you updated with the latest, by the way. Kaylee, this is in southwest Kentucky. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. All right, let's go back over to the latest. Latest radar scan will come in, by the way, in just about a minute. So we'll keep you updated with that and see if the rotation has changed at all. While we're at it, I'm going to go to sitting position. So I'm going to kind of move my desk down real quick. I will still be here. You're going to see this weird transition because I have a standing desk. All right, latest radar update just came in. We have very strong rotation, it looks like, ongoing near 94. Let's go ahead and get to that. Again, this is still a radar indicated rotation, so this is not on the ground, at least from what we know, but it could be at any time. So let's go over to the correlation coefficient. Again, it is not detecting any sort of debris still. Very minimal, if anything. It doesn't seem like we have any sort of debris, though, being lifted up. Very strong and tight rotation right now, near 94, moving off to the east-northeast. So again, that is your pocket of rotation. Very strong south of Mayfield, Kentucky. It is not directly going towards Mayfield, by the way. This is not a tornado that's going that direction if there were to be one on the ground, but it is going towards areas like Lindsville, as well as areas near Ball City and Farmington. So if you're in the track of this, again, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. This is, again, a very dangerous supercell moving off to the east-northeast. Again, this does include areas in Graves County. I do want to real quickly, we're going to go back to the cell here in just a second. We do have a brand new tornado warning for Desha County, a very small one. I'm not sure if we have any good views on this one. Looks like Little Rock's the best view. Very small tornado warning here back over in areas just west of Alligator and right along the Mississippi River. We'll take a really quick look at this storm, and we'll go right back to the Kentucky storm. This is a tornado warning that's ongoing in a cluster of warnings as well. Severe thunderstorm warnings all around it. Let's go and take a closer look at this. Here's your strong rotation going towards the Mississippi Valley, or excuse me, the Mississippi River. Again, west of areas near Alligator, northwest of Gunnison as well, west of Route 1. This is moving off to the east. So again, seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. We are pretty far away from the radar site, so it's kind of hard to really get a good gauge there, but it seems to be a bit more of a rural area, but near the Mississippi River. Again, currently southwest of Clarksdale. That is where we have some strong rotation on another cell moving off to the east. All right, we're gonna go right back to the tornado warning back up in Kentucky. This one obviously has some very strong rotation associated with it, so we have got to watch this very closely as it continues to move off to the northeast. We do have a brand new tornado warning that has also just been issued. I believe it's an extension to this tornado warning. Has not yet popped up. All right, there we go. Now it is. Brand new tornado warning issued just to the southeast of Mayfield in Kentucky. This does include areas in Callaway County, Graves County, and Marshall County in Kentucky. Again, seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. Almo, Sedalia, Lindsville, Stella, and Kirksey are the locations included in this brand new tornado warning. So again, make sure you get to your safe place immediately, away from windows and lowest floor possible. Strongest rotation is located near 24 or 22 here, moving towards 303, and it'll eventually move towards 381 and as well as 97. So those are the areas included right now in the upcoming strong rotation located here in parts of southwest Kentucky. Again, very strong rotation. Nothing has been confirmed by radar at this point, nor have we had any observed tornado out of this yet, but one could very well happen at any time as this continues to move off to the northeast. So we'll be watching this very closely. I don't think this will be a repeat of the Mayfield tornado. This is a bit of a different setup. The warmer air in the more humid air is not nearly as far north, so there are some differences from that event specifically. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely some strong rotation, not something you should be messing around with. But obviously very dangerous. This is a discrete cell, by the way. This isn't like what we saw back over in Arkansas. This is very discrete. There's nothing around this, by the way. I mean, like, really, when we look at the differences here, we have warnings ongoing in Arkansas. Very clustered and jumbled together showers and storms are kind of hindering the overall tornadic cells, which is good news. This one, though, is a bit more discrete, which makes it much easier to be able to develop a tornado threat. And that's what we are already seeing unfold here in southwest Kentucky, just south of Mayfield. Is that right now ongoing, which is pretty strong rotation. Again, nothing has been confirmed to this point, but we will keep you posted if anything does end up getting confirmed out of this as it continues to move off to the northeast. Correlation coefficient, again, not indicating a tornado on the ground right now, or at least debris being lifted up, but very well could happen at any time. This is, again, the velocities. Very, very strong, tight, confined. This is close to the radar site, really as close as you can get for this sort of event, so we are monitoring this very closely as it continues to move off to the northeast. And let's go ahead and go back to the reflectivity again. This is the reflectivity. So it looks to be like it's going to be a bit more of a rain wrap situation south of Mayfield. But again, if you're in the track of this, don't even try to look outside. Just get to your safe place, away from windows and lowest floor possible. And this storm's moving pretty quickly off to the northeast at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. It will be moving towards, again, areas like Stella back over just to the northeast of the cell. So if you're in those areas, get your safety plan right now set in case the storm is still rotating as strong as it is, or even if you're still in the warning. If you're in the warning, get to your safe place now. If you're anywhere near Stella, you got a few minutes, but again, make sure you're getting to your safe place as quick as humanly possible for the next several minutes, as there is, again, fairly strong rotation here ongoing in Kentucky. We are monitoring it very closely, though, as it continues to move off to the northeast. A lot of lightning as well out of these storms, just to kind of go along with everything that's been ongoing. A lot of lightning, especially across areas like Arkansas and Louisiana. So we're monitoring that as well. There's a possibility, obviously, for frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. How much lightning we have out there tonight. Yeah, this tornado, again, could touch down at any time. There's definitely a chance that it does even touch down in between radar scans. It's obviously a possibility with a storm like this. So just obviously keep that in the back of your head. If you're anywhere here in southwest Kentucky, even though it might not look like it's on the ground on radar or whatnot, it very well could happen in between radar scans. It also could happen literally at any given time. The radar is humanly delayed here by a good, at least a good 15-30 seconds. So you got to keep that in mind as well. I mean, the velocities and where they are right now, they're obviously going to be much further ahead of this now. They're probably going to be over here in the next radar scan or something like that. So obviously another thing to kind of keep in the back of your head if you're looking at the radar. And you can see here now moving over areas just west of 381 and east of 303. Those are the two areas right now in between the area of very strong rotation. Correlation coefficient, again, not detecting anything on radar, but we could again see something at any time. So we'll keep a close eye on it. And there could even be a tornado at any time, and we might not even know it. Also, we have another tornado warning. I believe we're up to 4 now. Brand new tornado warning back down in the same area near Clarksdale. We already looked at this storm. We're going to go back to it again really quick. This also has some fairly strong rotation. This is an area that we were just looking at about 6-7 minutes ago. Strong rotation right now located here. That is west of 44, near the near the Mississippi Valley, west and northwest of areas near Gunnison, southwest or west of Clarksdale right now. So if you're in those areas, make sure you get to your safe place, away from windows and lowest floor possible. Again, some strong rotation there. It'll be crossing over into Mississippi here pretty soon. These storms are tracking to the east-northeast/northeast right now, so another thing to keep in mind there. All right, let's go back over to the latest over here. Again, this is south of Mayfield, Kentucky. We're watching an ongoing strong, really severe storm, I should say, that is again producing some fairly strong rotation. Let's go back over to the velocities here and give an idea of what we're looking at there. And we'll go kind of zoom in again. So this is, again, our strong rotation. We'll get another radar update here in about 30 to 45 seconds on the velocities. But this is our strong velocities. Again, here are your winds going away from the radar here. And then your wind's going towards the radar, so you got that counterclockwise spin. That's typical of tornadoes. And again, a tornado would be located probably right in here if there were to be one with this supercell that we're seeing unfold. This is the latest radar scan, quickly moving now to the northeast near 381 and 97, just west of 564. Tornado warning, by the way, just out the window is expiring. This tornado warning is set to still on go for those over in areas like Stella and out in front of the cell here in southwest Kentucky. So again, make sure you're in your safe place immediately, away from windows and lowest floor possible, as this continues to march out to the northeast. That's what we're looking at right now. Again, if you're just tuning in, friendly reminder, hit the like button down below. It helps us get out to more people that are in the track of these storms. Also, subscribe if you're new here. I'll keep you up to date with the latest on all the severe weather that's ongoing tonight. I do plan to be live as long as there are tornado warnings. So I was originally only going to be live here for an hour, but we'll be live for a little bit longer than that, just due to the fact we have warnings out there. Yeah, this is a very vicious area of rotation. I mean, this is probably, we've obviously seen some worse storms today, but I would go ahead and say that this is definitely some very strong rotation that is very close to a radar site, so it makes it easier to see as well. Some of these other storms that we've seen today with tornadoes have not been nearly as close to radar sites, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to kind of visualize what it looks like on radar. This one clearly on radar is very strong in terms of the velocities. And that's obviously a big concern here as this continues to track out to the northeast. Again, correlation coefficient has not shown anything in terms of overall debris being lifted up into the atmosphere or anything like that so far, which is good news as well. But again, we could see something at any time here, so we'll have to be watching that very closely. All right, let me go back over here real quick. All right, no new updates, by the way, on any of the other warnings. We have a couple of other tornado warnings back over in Arkansas that we are monitoring closely as well. So we'll be monitoring all of them very closely. This one's more of a concern just due to how many people live in this region, along with that very tight rotation here just south and southeast of Mayfield, which again, Mayfield was hit by a very strong tornado only a year ago. So this is obviously going to stay south of Mayfield, but it is not very far really from those that, you know, live in Mayfield. It's definitely not too far of a drive there. So obviously prayers to anybody that's in the track of this. Hopefully there's no tornado with this, but strong rotations obviously not giving us any good signs right now in terms of the velocities. But it'll again continue to track towards 121 south as well as 564 and highway 80 over the next several minutes. This has been strong rotation for the last about 20 to 25 minutes, so it is a long-lasting storm so far. Latest radar scan just came in. That is where your rotation is. It is now crossing over 303, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, going towards 564, and 121 will be next in track of that. So again, if you're in those areas, get to your safe place immediately, away from windows and lowest floor possible. It'll also be moving towards areas like 1836 and 80 over the upcoming about 5-ish minutes. So again, you want to get your safe place right now. Don't wait, just in case there is a tornado with this. And again, correlation coefficient not showing anything for right now, which again, good news so far. But again, we could see anything at any time. Go over to here real quick. By the way, latest update on the warnings back over in Arkansas. Those severe thunderstorms are still ongoing. 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds up to quarter-size tail are also possible with those storms. Those are the two. I believe I have about 4 or 5 different severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing. Let me just double check that real quick. Currently, yeah, we have 4 severe thunderstorm warnings, and then we have 3 tornado warnings. Let me just update that count real quick. And there we go. So yeah, and 4 severe thunderstorm warnings and 3 tornado warnings. This is the one that's south of Mayfield in southwest Kentucky. So a little heads up there. Hey Emma, how you doing? Memphis is included in a brand new tornado watch, by the way. Yeah, Memphis has that possibility for some severe weather tonight. I'm not going to go to I'm going to stay on this one for right now, but there's also a tornado warning west of Clarksdale in western Mississippi, so obviously seek shelter there if you're in that area. We'll keep an update on that one if there's any new details with that. For right now, it's just radar indicated rotation. Along with this storm, it is still radar indicated rotation, but as you can probably notice here on the velocities radar, this is no joke. We're still talking about very tight rotation right now, moving towards areas just south right now of Mayfield, Kentucky, and just southwest right now of 121 and 80. So those are the locations right now on the track of this. So we'll be watching that very closely. Indiana is primarily just going to be isolated storms, nothing beyond that, though. I wouldn't expect any severe weather that far to the north. Bayou, the chance of a tornado along the Mississippi Gulf Coast tomorrow morning before 8 is pretty low. I wouldn't expect much of anything by that point. It'll probably be more of a late morning and afternoon sort of threat. But yeah, I don't think the storms will really arrive there until probably a little bit after 8 a.m. Hey Kitty, how you doing? Hey Tammy, there's no scaring people with these sort of warnings. I mean, there really is. I mean, you really need to scare people in these sort of situations in a good way, because you know, people sometimes don't get these warnings and they might not be aware of this sort of, you know, tornado warning. And when it's something serious like this, I mean, this is a serious event today. This isn't something that was like, you know, a marginal risk, very limited environment. This is a enhanced risk for a reason. There is a very primed environment for tornadic supercells like this one that you need to warn people about. And that's why I do these live streams. I mean, this isn't something that you want to just, you know, blow off by any means. I mean, people do that sometimes, and it obviously can cost people their lives. So it's really important that the word gets out there about storms like this. And obviously it seems like on the latest radar scan, the velocities are slightly lower, but it's more of a situation where you want to make sure people are aware of what's going on. And this is definitely a situation where, you know, you need to make sure that people are aware of this with whatever you can do. Because again, this is a pretty dangerous situation here in this regard. Latest update, by the way, this tornado warning still includes Callaway County, Graves County, and Marshall County in southern Kentucky. So that's what we got going right now. Nothing in Alabama right now, Betty. Nothing in Alabama right now. But if there's anything, we'll keep you posted. But nothing really until tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the bigger event there in Alabama as well as Mississippi. Thank you, Clay, Kitty, Betty, as well as Robert. Thank you guys for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome. All right, latest radar scan still showing. It looks like broadening rotation here, which is good news. Again, we have a couple of little pockets here. I'd say the main area still is probably going to be this one here near, let me figure out, that's 564. That's still our main area of rotation. It was strong there for a while. It could recycle, so that's definitely something to keep in mind as well. No reports so far of a tornado with this, though, despite their strong rotation. No confirmed reports of it. This is the cell that we've been watching here, just east of Mayfield now. It'll be moving towards areas like Benton and Hardin near Highway 641 as well over the next several minutes. So if anything does redevelop with this or become stronger, we'll keep a very close eye on it. Let's real quickly go back down to the south. We have plenty of other warnings ongoing. We also have a damage report of a tree being knocked down and partially fell onto a home in Star City. That's in Lincoln County, Arkansas. And we also have another report out of El Dorado of some other damage as well there. And several roads are flooded as well there. Water's flooded over an intersection. So over in El Dorado, there's some flooding concerns there. Back over to the tornado warning west of Clarksdale, Mississippi. There is some rotation on this cell as well. Does not seem to be tight, but there is definitely rotation there. Something to watch for as it continues to cross over the Mississippi River east of 44. Again, this storm's right now moving off to the northeast at about 40 to 50 miles per hour, kind of in that range right now. It's on the northern side of that storm, possibly a rain-wrapped tornado if there were to be a tornado with that cell. The strong and severe cluster of storms is still marching off to the east as well. This is what we began our stream with near Watson, east of Winchester, and northeast of McGee. Still some strong storms ongoing here. We got possibility for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds as that continues to track out to the east. But along with that, again, that tornado warning is still ongoing west of Clarksdale. So we'll keep a close eye on those. Back over into southwest Kentucky. We'll stay on the storm here near Murray. We'll keep a more close eye on this one for right now. And let's go back over to the velocities here. And we'll keep a close eye on this one. Because, again, this one might recycle. It has recycled several times. So we'll see if it does again. But, again, southeast of Mayfield, moving off to the northeast. Am I going to broadcast tomorrow? I am planning on broadcasting for a large chunk of tomorrow. That's the plan. But we'll see. Plans don't always go through, but I'll try to probably be live as much as I can tomorrow. I wasn't really live today. There's a possibility for some severe weather in Tennessee for sure. So yeah, I would definitely say Western Tennessee is definitely on that possibility. Couple of areas again of rotation still strong. They've re-strengthened again here on the velocities radar. One west of 1836. We got another one near 80. So a couple areas still to watch here of rotation. Go back to the base velocities. Strong rotation near 80. Let's go to the correlation coefficient. It's still not showing anything, which is pretty surprising with how tight the rotation has been. But strong rotation still ongoing there near 80. One near 1836 as well. Again, a couple areas of strong rotation here moving off to the east and northeast. So we'll keep a close eye on these as they continue to move off to the northeast here in Kentucky. And tornado warning, I believe, has just been condensed a little bit more. Let's go ahead and kind of recircle these. So that's the couple of areas here. It is now east of Mayfield by about a good 15-20 miles as well. So just a little update there. Check the correlation coefficient on the West Kentucky cell. There's another one west. That is. Talking about west over this direction? There's not anything really much further west. Are you talking about this one here? This is like the furthest west I think we really can go with. I mean, there's not any other storms here rotating. This is becoming pretty crazy though. We have some very strong rotation here on these two cells east of Mayfield. Again, correlation coefficient is not picking up on anything here. Maybe picking up on something, possibly with that one cell. Yeah, there might be actually a little bit of debris here. It's a little bit higher up in the elevation. There's a little bit of something showing up there. This is the current look at the velocities, and again, very strong rotation ongoing near 80 and north of 464. Oh, you're lagging behind. Oh, I got you. Okay, I was about to say. Again, this warning just got updated, by the way. Still radar indicated for now. Latest radar scans are indicating very strong rotation, though, is still ongoing here. With two different areas, by the way. Primary area is probably here near 80, Highway 80, moving off to the northeast. So west and southwest of Hardin in Kentucky. That's probably our main area right now in the track of this tornado warning cell. So we're keeping a close eye on that right now. And very strong rotation there. All right, no new updates there otherwise. Sorry, I got a chair that keeps slipping down. I got a standing desk for a reason. This chair does not really want to work. All right, here's the latest radar update. Again, a couple areas of rotation here in Kentucky. We got one here that is south of 80. We got another one here north of 80. We got two 80s here. But again, this one is a little bit more broad. It has been for a while. This one has been the strongest of the two. And this one's right now north of 80, south of 464. Again, correlation coefficient is not picking up on any sort of debris. But this was a couple minutes ago, so I'll have to wait for that to update. But this is the reflectivity as of right now as well. So just kind of give you a general picture here. I would go ahead and say that the rotation is obviously much more concerning here south of 464. So make sure again that you're staying away from windows, the lowest floor possible, interior room of your home if at all possible. I mean, these are again two very strong rotations. Main area though is going to be here just to the south of 464. Moving to the northeast towards areas like Hardin. So we'll be monitoring that very closely here over the next several minutes. Little Rock is not done for tonight, but you have a much lower chance of severe weather for the rest of the night. There will be another line of storms later tonight with that cold front. The severe weather threat should be a little bit lower. Nisha, it's a bot. I have to say hi to it every time. It just automatically, if somebody says I think hey in chat, it just does that. By the way, a new update from the National Weather Service of Shreveport. There's been several reports of wind damage and flooding this evening from deep east Texas across northern Louisiana into southern Arkansas. There's a little heads up there. That's from the National Weather Service there of Shreveport. Latest update on the tornado warning. Strongest of the rotation again is now centered over 464, closing in on 1836 as of right now. That is our strongest rotation. Again, it's moving off to the northeast. Hardin is the next in track of this in about 15 minutes or so. But tornado warning still ongoing. Radar indicated rotation. It is not confirmed on the ground quite yet, but again, that could obviously change at any time if the rotation picks up. It's been very strong for a while here. Seems like it's not touching the ground though quite yet, but it could happen in between radar scans too. Not out of the question. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. Hey, Summer, how you doing? Hey, JK, how you doing? You'd rather enjoy talking to the bots. There you go. Dayton, Ohio should be fine. I mean, if anything, tomorrow, again, it's gonna be like an isolated storm. It's not gonna be anything severe, though. Mainly just rain. Anywhere that far to the north just does not have enough of a temperature, like high enough temperature or high enough humidity to really, or high enough dew point, I should say, to be able to create enough buoyancy or instability to be able to fuel thunderstorms. So I wouldn't expect much there in that far north in Ohio. Longview shouldn't be too, you should be pretty much in the clear. That cold front will be moving through those areas in East Texas. Again, that cold front, I'm just going to zoom out, excuse me, real quick. The cold front is still way back out here. I mean, it has not yet moved in those areas. So there might be a couple, or actually might be a bit further over here now, but that cold front will initiate some thunderstorms tonight. Won't be that severe. Isolated severe weather is all I expect out of that cold front. Primarily just an isolated damaging wind gust or hail event, maybe an isolated brief tornado, but that would be like the last sort of round of storms for those in East Texas. And then after that, you're done. Tomorrow should be beautiful for you. I mean, behind the cold front, great weather's coming. Drier weather, a little bit cooler as well. More like winter is coming, which is exciting. I like winter. Like the winter temperatures. Back down into the 50s for those in the Southern Plains. Bill, Green Bay is, I think, more going to be like a winter weather event tomorrow. I'll have a forecast, I think, tomorrow morning. I'm not sure yet. If I don't have a forecast tomorrow morning, I'll just do a live stream with a forecast. But I'll do an update on the winter storm then. There's been a lot of ice up there, though. Isn't that event still ongoing? Obviously, it's probably still ongoing. Let me get off this pen real quick. Let's zoom out real quick. Let's do this. And here's the storms right now near Mayfield. And if you zoom out all the way back up here, here's your winter storm. Man, that's insane. 5 inches of snow has fallen in some areas, almost 12 inches. And still snowing back up in northern Nebraska. Colorado seeing a few inches of snow. Got some freezing rain. About 1/8 of inch of ice has accumulated near Badger. So yeah, even Green Bay is actually seeing some snow right now. So yeah, again, this is gonna be an interesting event to watch. I made a video on it this morning, and yeah, there's a lot of snow coming out of that. This is a multi-dual sort of trough that we're watching. I mean, there's snow and ice on one half of it. On the other half, there's just a lot of rain and flooding rain. And then on another half of it, it's severe weather. So This is a very classic sort of trough, not typical during this time of the year, but it's pretty sort of, you know, common sort of thing that does happen, not specifically in January, but it does happen a little bit more often during like the spring months and the fall months as well. So it's a little bit more common then. All right, let's zoom back in here. Winter's the best. I do have to agree with that in terms of the temperatures. Are you talking about Worcester and Massachusetts, JK? We do have a brand new tornado warning that was just issued for Hardin and Benton in Kentucky. Make sure you seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. Again, this is a brand new tornado warning that has just been issued here. Make sure you seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. All right, sorry, making a post real quick on Twitter. But again, brand new tornado warning here. This is for Callaway County and Marshall County. Again, that rotation is going to be this one right here. So that's the rotation here that just got warned. For those near 1949, moving towards Highway 641, Benton and Hardin are the two areas in track right now of two different areas of rotation. This is your first area that's further back to the west right now. And then you got another one here. Let me, these radars keep updating very quickly. Here's the first one though, near 1949. This one has more of a potential to impact areas near Benton if a tornado is able to develop. And then back over southwest of 80 is our other area of rotation. This one may get a little bit closer to areas like Hardin. This one's going to be taking a track like this. So for those in Hardin and Benton, make sure you're getting to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home. That is what you've got to do right now. Again, we have two areas of rotation right now here in Kentucky. This is now east of Mayfield, Kentucky, by the way. So if you're in Mayfield, you are clear from the tornado warnings that are ongoing. Here are your couple different areas right now of rotation, moving off again to the east. And seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. No problem, Bill. Oh, the Arkansas tornado did expire. I think it did. All right, so yeah, we only have two tornado warnings, and it's these two in Kentucky right now. We have 4 other warnings that are severe thunderstorm warnings. So the warning that was ongoing back over in eastern sections of Arkansas near the Mississippi River, I mentioned it a few minutes ago, that has expired at this point. The only warning that we have left remaining, or the 2 tornado warnings that we have left remaining, still very significant, are right now centered south of Interstate 69, south of Benton and west of Hardin. So those are the couple of areas right now in these tornado warnings. Latest radar update, it isn't really showing very strong rotation on either parts of these cells. The rotation is fizzling out a lot more south of 80. Tornado warning has just been condensed, by the way, but south of Benton, rotation is not, it's strengthened maybe a little bit, but the rotation down here is definitely weakening a lot more than before. So some good news for that storm that was possibly going to head towards areas like Hardin. But if you're back over south of Benton, be very mindful. We still have some rotation with this part of the cell. If it's able to organize and mature enough, it very well could drop a tornado at any time. This is not the most primed environment this far to the north, by the way, which makes it kind of even crazier that we have rotation this far to the north that's this strong. But it has not reached the surface quite yet, but that could obviously change at any time here. Yeah, this is nothing like the December 10th event by any means. No, this is nothing like the December 10th event or 11th. I think it was December 11th, if I'm not mistaken. There were several tornadoes. I mean, there was at least 2 or 3 dozen tornadoes on that December 11th tornado outbreak. In 2022, by the way, this is like the most recent severe weather outbreak that we had. It was much more significant than this. I will tell you right now, that was a lot more significant than this event. It was, unfortunately, that was my day of finals, by the way, so I was not even able to go live for the tornadoes in Texas that morning because I had a final literally at that time. But that was an unbelievable event. That was a very, very significant weather event that, to be honest with you, it's historical for those, especially in North Texas. I mean, that was 16 tornadoes in a day, which is something that just does not happen that often in the month of December. So very crazy so far. I mean, we've seen some crazy weather for the last few months, though. I mean, we had, from the Arctic blast to now this severe weather event, we've seen some pretty significant, you know, weather events to this point, and this is just another example of possibly another one, more of a, I would say, kind of on the lower scale from that December 11th event, but it's still really notable here. So. Guys, I do not want to be compared to people on YouTube. Please, thank you. Keep seeing people comparing me to people on YouTube. I do not want to be compared. Get it. I've been doing weather for like 3 to 4 years, and I primarily did it on Facebook for those that want some history on that. But it was called North Texas Weather Center. We still do it, but I went nationwide here on YouTube earlier this summer. And I am 2 years through college in meteorology, so that's the goal at the end of the day, is be a broadcast meteorologist. I'm not trying to compete with anybody here on YouTube. I'm just, you know, I'm doing this for really just helping people out. You know, that's the main goal with this whole YouTube channel. It's never been to, you know, do anything else. I just love to be able to forecast for so many people. I'm really thankful for everybody that follows this page too. Really, I say it a lot, but I mean, I really do truly mean it. It's really a blessing, and honestly, I love doing this. This is really, whenever I go live, it's really just a great, you know, thing to be able to help so many people. So that's the full goal of this page. It has nothing else to do with anything else. I just want to help people. So for those that keep comparing me to other people, I don't need to be compared by any means. I don't want to be compared to anybody else, honestly. I just want to kind of do my own thing, and that's the goal at the end of the day. It's just to help people. So obviously, with tornado warnings ongoing, it's very significant. Latest radar update just came in, by the way. And again, strong rotation ongoing. We have a lot of wind, by the way, near Benton. So just south of Benton, near 641 south. That is where we have some strong velocity. So some rotation is still ongoing there. Key critical thing, though, there's rotation starting to strengthen again there. Rotation is smaller near 80, but it is still strong. So keep that in mind. Again, 2 different pockets of rotation. One moving toward 1949, and also another one moving just to the south and east of Benton, moving off to the northeast. So again, stay away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your house as that continues to move off to the north and east. That's the goal, Jaws. That's the goal. That's the only, I mean, like, really, that's literally why I started this page. I started back all the way in 2019. I mean, I've been doing this for almost 4 years now, which is actually crazy. I feel like I just started this yesterday, and nationwide YouTube and live streams started really more than anything just this past summer, because I had such a high demand for it. But I'm not teaming up with anybody. I'm just doing my own thing. Love doing what I do here. I will be getting a green screen, by the way, at some point. Definitely stay tuned for that. I'm hoping by this upcoming summer, once I'm done with college for the spring semester, I'm hoping to get a green screen, start doing some green screen forecasts, and that'll be exciting. I'm hoping to do that here going into the upcoming summer. That's a plan for the future, but definitely something to look forward to there. I definitely plan on doing that. Correlation coefficient drop. Let me take a look. I don't think there is one. Yeah, latest radar update. Yeah, we haven't really had any CC drops on this at all, which is kind of shocking. I mean, we've had strong rotation with this for a while. This is not nearly as strong as it has been at some points, but we still have some, you know, at least strong rotation. Still one southeast of Benton moving towards 408 and Highway 68. Another very small one that's really fizzling out quick south of 1949 and near 80. So I would say the key area right now is going to be this rotation here just southeast of Benton, moving off to the northeast. And the bigger thing with this too is that there's probably gonna be some damaging winds. So even if there's not a tornado, we are still talking about a potential for some damaging winds that could lead to some trees being knocked over, loose lawn items flying away, plants damaged, that sort of thing. So you know, even if we don't see a tornado, we are still talking about some pretty significant wind damage as well. And also there's a possibility for maybe a little bit of small hail. We have a little hail core possibly developing there just south of Benton. And this region, this far to the north, has that possibility. With colder temperatures aloft, we might see a little bit of that hail start to fall. So just keep that in mind. Nothing too significant is expected, but you might see a little bit of hail. But yeah, this rotation is absolutely insane right now, southeast of Benton. We'll keep a close eye on it here. Hey, no problem, Becca. Yeah, I'm glad you're learning. Yeah, my presentation is, a lot of people compare me to an auctioneer. Auctioneer. I talk so fast. I've been trying to talk a little bit slower recently, but kind of hard. I just stream at 1 million. Who are you talking about? Got their stream. Train weather spotters in the area of the Kentucky warning is trying to get visuals now. Thank you for the report, by the way. Yeah, keep me updated, because I don't have any really direct lines for this storm. I'm actually surprised anybody's out there, unless you're a local. I mean, storm chasing this far to the north of Kentucky today was probably not in many people's plans. This is definitely a bit of a shocker, I would say, for a lot of people. I mean, this is in the realm of possibility. It wasn't impossible to see a tornado-warned cell this far to the north. It just comes as a bit more of a shock because of the just really the entire ingredients and just kind of how this day is unwinded for the most part. I don't think that's a word, but how it's kind of gone down is that we haven't seen that many tornadoes. We've seen a few, but nothing that we was possibly going to see. We could have seen upwards of, a dozen tornadoes today. I think we've only seen maybe about 5-6 tornadoes at the most so far. If that might be, that's just a rough estimate, but with how many storms that we've seen, the convective setup and whatnot, this far to the north was not really anticipated, but obviously it was still a possibility. It was just very low chance. And we've seen some very strong rotation with the cell ever since here, by the way. This has been going on for about an hour now. This isn't like a short-term thing. It's been long-term for about an hour now. Though there probably, I mean, at this point, we don't know if there's been a tornado at any point with this. There probably has been at some point. It might have been brief, but it hasn't been a long track, but it's still impressive how this storm has been rotating for this long of amount of time. It's definitely impressive, again, being this far to the north here in Kentucky. By the way, winds are upwards of 70 miles per hour being estimated on radar here on the velocities. Back up here near Highway 68, so 70 miles per hour right there is being estimated by the radar, so just a little thing to keep in mind there. PDS is particularly dangerous situation tornado. There's no PDS though going on. Thank you, Brandon, for the $5 super chat. Oh, you're in Benton, Arkansas. Hey, I apologize. I try to say Benton, I try to say the state after as much as I can. Hopefully you're staying safe though. I appreciate the generous $5 super chat. Happy New Year, Cynthia. Happy New Year. Hope you're doing well. Anybody have any New Year's resolutions, by the way? I didn't really make one. Radar is currently in southwest Kentucky. This is east of Mayfield, Kentucky. If you remember, about a year ago, back in December, there was a tornado in Mayfield, Kentucky. This is east of there, so just a little bit east. Not too far east, but a little bit. Yeah, we'll keep you posted if there's any other sort of stuff there. Again, the only tornado warnings that we have ongoing right now, I'm pretty sure is just this one, if I'm not mistaken. We have 2 tornado warnings. This is the main one right now. Rotation has subsided on that first initial area of rotation, but we still have some strong rotation, at least some very strong winds near Highway 68 moving off to the northeast. Current warning count, by the way, we have 2 tornado warnings and 4 severe thunderstorm warnings. So these are the only 2 tornado warnings ongoing. So just in southwest Kentucky right now is where those warnings are ongoing. Again, near Highway 68 here, that is where the rotation is. By the way, if you're new to the stream, friendly reminder, hit the like button down below. Helps us get out to more people. Also, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Again, get the latest forecast, most accurate forecast here on YouTube. And also click the bell icon down below so you get notified whenever I go live and whatnot. Let's go back over to the velocities here. We'll stay on this here for just a moment. Still some strong rotation near Highway 68. We'll see what happens here over the next few minutes. Joe, I'm not going to be teaming up with anybody, so. Guys, I'm not teaming up with anybody. I'm an independent person. I am not teaming up. There's no reason to. I've heard a lot of things. I've heard a lot of things in the background there that just, I don't go with the values of those sort of things, so I'm not going to team up anybody. Hey, no problem. Appreciate it. I don't know how to say your name, but I appreciate it. I wish it would snow more. Iowa's going to be mainly ice, Poncho. It's going to be mainly ice, so. It's, if you're like the northern section, the northern tier of areas like Iowa, you're primarily just going to see ice. If you're in like far northwestern Iowa, there might be some snow, but otherwise, not much. What temperature would cause instability? Instability isn't always caused by temperature. It's more of just how much sunshine there is. Temperature does play a little bit of a factor into it, but with this sort of setup, I mean, if we go to like the instability here, let me kind of give you an idea here. We'll kind of compare and contrast the temperatures real quick. Rotation is weakened a little bit more on that storm, so we have a quick second here. Let's go over to instability. I have it on here somewhere. I think right here. Yeah, here we go. So this is the instability. This is, I believe, a couple hours ago, though, so just kind of keep that in mind. But instability values in these pinks, for example, are like 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram. That's the surface-based instability, which is a little bit different, but that's just kind of a general gist there. Furthest north it goes is up to about Kansas City. Temperatures typically need to be over 55 degrees for at least some sort of instability. So if we go back over to the temperatures here and compare and contrast there, temperatures up to about Kansas City here, about 55 degrees. So it's right in that 55 degree range. Typically over 55 is when you will see more instability than not. We do have a brand new tornado warning. I gotta kind of switch off all the stuff here. We have a brand new tornado warning that was just issued. It going over a lot of water, it looks like, near Grand Rivers, Eddyville, and as well as Cuttawa. Those areas included near Interstate 24 for a brand new tornado warning. Again, this has been radar indicated. This has been warned for at least the last hour now. Moving off to the northeast, make sure to seek shelter immediately, away from windows and lowest floor possible. And interior of your house. Again, rotation is right now centered east of Benton, Kentucky. Not in Arkansas, like somebody super chatted about. Thanks, Ash. Ash, I know you've been here for a while. I recognize a lot of people that have been here for a while. By the way, Lyon County and Marshall County are the two included right now. What are my New Year's resolutions? I have no clue. I didn't make any. Hey, thanks, Sting. I appreciate it. Yeah, I do post a lot on Facebook, by the way. If you ever want to go check out my Facebook page, links in the description. It's just North Texas weather, but we do post a lot of stuff on there. Occasionally some memes and stuff like that. So, always a good time over there. Thanks, Kenneth, by the way, for subscribing. Thanks, TN, by the way, for the report. Possible power flashes were reported. Possible power flashes were reported with this tornado warning cell, by the way. So that's the latest from a viewer that just commented on that. Thank you, TN. So possible power flashes with this tornado warning cell. That was probably back a little bit further down here to the south and west. Rotation's not strong. It's kind of in the moderate stage right now. This storm is recycled several times, so your rotation right now, again, is just east of Benton. This is moving to the northeast. It'll be going just to the east of Grand Rivers. So, yeah, I saw the accident as well. Yeah, there's been some crazy stuff today. Yeah, I saw, I'm not going to say anything about it, but I did see somebody got in an accident in a storm chaser, so hopefully everybody's okay in that. But I saw a lot of people saying it looked like he was distracted, and it did. So kind of my thing on it, but hopefully everybody's okay. Obviously, health and safety is the most important thing for everybody that was involved. Which, what I've heard, it seems like that has been, you know, everybody's been okay with that. So it's the hope. And also another thing to mention, this is not weather related, but I do want to say, again, prayers to Damar Hamlin. He's in critical condition. He's a Buffalo Bills player. Just heard about that tonight, and I was watching the game live, and very scary situation. Again, not weather related, but I just want to mention that. That's one of the reasons, by the way, why I didn't go live tonight, was because of that. So, again, prayers for that situation. Very scary for sure. And I literally watched it live. I was for an hour literally in tears. It was like the scariest thing I think I've ever seen in any sort of sport. And I just want to mention that. So my prayers go out to his family and as well as him. And hopefully he gets better very soon. Hey, Connie, how you doing? Welcome back. All right, back to the tornado warning. Again, we have a tornado warning ongoing here in Kentucky, east of Benton. That is where your rotation is where that circle is here. Again, north of Highway 68. Latest radar scan is picking up on some strong rotation again. Near 58. Let's go back over to the correlation coefficient. It looks like we have a second area over here as well. Let's go over to the correlation coefficient here. Again, nothing showing up on the debris radar, which is interesting. But again, we still have some strong rotation. Redeveloping again, east of 68 and south of 453. This is south of Grand Rivers, east of Mayfield, Kentucky, by the way. So if you're in Mayfield, you're not in the track of this. Just kind of a visual here. Mayfield's back over here, so it's kind of off to your east-northeast now. This was originally a cell that was tornado warned beginning southwest of Mayfield. So this has been going for over an hour now. So just a little heads up there. I mean, this has been a long track storm. Whether it has produced a tornado yet is still questionable, but it likely has at some point in its longevity. So it has been, again, ongoing at least for about an hour, almost an hour and a half now. It's been ongoing almost this entire stream, which is kind of crazy. So again, a couple areas of rotation here ongoing. Let me put better circles here. I cannot circle. That is a better circle. Now, those are the couple areas right now with some stronger rotation. I'm not going to say what happened, but it was a very serious injury. What I've heard is that the player needed CPR on the field. The game was postponed entirely. So this is becoming max at night. I'm used to the night sort of stuff. I usually stay up late, so I have no problem with staying up late for this. Again, if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Turn on post notifications as well. Click that bell icon so you're notified whenever I go live again. Again, I'll be live here for a while, looks like, with these tornado warnings that are ongoing, so be keeping you posted with the latest. Again, we're right now in south portions of Kentucky, which is, again, not an area that I thought I would mention tonight, but this is the area that we're seeing tornado warnings miraculously, so. Apparently the stream bot's stream elements bot is running. So it wasn't running before. How's it going, Jaws, by the way? I've been here for a while. Hope you're doing well. Don't fall asleep. I won't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep. No updates on Western Tennessee right now. No, there's not much going on in terms of the overall severe weather right now down to the south. There's just a couple of isolated storms that are severe right now. Obviously, things could ramp up tonight. If we go back over and take this off real quick and do this. Yeah, again, mostly just rain right now near Tennessee. So again, just have a way to receive alerts tonight if you're over there in West Tennessee. You're in a tornado watch until 4 o'clock tonight, so another 5 hours-ish. You don't have to stay up the entire night unless it's your only option, but obviously have a way to receive alerts tonight just in case you do have any tornado warnings. A lot more storm activity down here to the south. We actually have a little line of storms developing here in east North Texas. This is the secondary line of storms that's expected to develop. I do have to post this, so I'll post that real quick. Oops, actually I have to change this. Sorry, I have to post this to Facebook because I do run North Texas Weather Center. So give me 1 second here. Let's do this again and save, and we'll go back over here. All right, let's go back to the tornado warning, and then I'll post that real quick on Facebook. But yeah, that's the other area of storms that's going to develop. That could potentially produce the threat for isolated severe weather with that line of storms going into the overnight hours. Strong rotation is still ongoing here south of 453, moving off to the northeast. So again, make sure you're staying away from windows. Lowest floor possible if you're in the track of this storm, moving off to the northeast. All right, that is posted. We're good. You all right? Well, it's better than being mad, I guess. All right, real quick, I'm gonna go check Twitter. We do have a new Mesoscale discussion, by the way, I'll get to here in just a second. Still, the main areas included in these new tornado warnings is for basically Eddyville. That's the main next location included in this tornado warning. Strong rotation going over, it looks like some water. If we go ahead and take off the velocities real quick, this is the water here near 453, so a little bit of water near Grand Rivers. That could possibly make this even into like a water spout if there is to be some sort of tornadic, or at least some very strong rotation at the surface. We very well could be talking about maybe a tornado on the ground, or at least a water spout to that essence. But for right now, this is the correlation coefficient. Again, right now near 453. Not a whole lot of debris being spotted here on the correlation coefficient, but again, Eddyville will be next in the track of this here in Kentucky over the next several minutes. That is, again, a little hole there you can see. That's probably where, if there were to be a tornado, it would be located. Very well right in line with that, where that strong rotation is as well. So that's, yeah, right in line. So there's a little hole there. So there very well could potentially be a tornado in that location at any given time here. Hey, no problem, Kimber. Energy drink. I believe it or not, I've never had an energy drink in my life. Believe it or not. South Louisiana is not done yet, but you're kind of on the low scale of any severe weather at this point. So let's not use special fonts, please. I've never seen that before. Not use special fonts. Thank you. Isle of Man. Isn't that a country? I can't remember. Any hail chances in Ohio? It's a low chance. I would say it's pretty close to 0. Ohio shouldn't see. I mean, significant hail wise, probably not. Unless you're like extreme southern Ohio, there is a possibility for maybe some very, I wouldn't even say that. I don't even think there's really any chance for hail in Ohio, other than maybe like pea-sized hail. The lapse rates aren't very high up there, and yeah, it's just not a favorable environment for hail. Damaging wind should be the only concern of that far north. By the way, latest radar scan rotation has weakened a bit again. This has been a recycling sort of situation, though. We've seen the rotation strong at times, very weak at times. It's been varying a lot, so we're gonna very well keep a very close eye on this. I'm not really getting off the storm for a moment because it could re-strengthen again and have strong rotation. So again, southeast of Grand Rivers, going towards Interstate 24, south of Kudawa. Those areas are in the track right now of this rotation. Moving off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So that is the current track of it. Strong winds as well. We could be talking about damaging winds upwards of 60 to 65 miles per hour along with that. Realized I had a pin message that had no meaning. That's an accident? Hey, no problem, Debbie. No problem. That's what I'm here for. I got you, Euro. There you go, Chronic. Yeah, that's a good idea. Put your charger, yeah, again, actually, good idea for everybody that's here right now. If you're in the track of these storms tonight, make sure your cell phones and stuff are charged up, just in case you don't have power or something along those lines. It's always a very good idea to have those sort of electronical devices charged ahead of tonight. Even if they're like old devices that you don't even use anymore, it's always good to have an extra flashlight if you don't have flashlights and stuff like that. So always make sure to do that. That's a very, very good idea. Confirmed tornadoes, I believe, is over 3 and less than like 7 or 8. I wasn't live today really at all for the tornadoes, but up until a couple about yeah, it was about 2 hours ago now. But yeah, I think we've at least had 3 tornadoes. Somewhere between 3 and 6, I think, is a reasonable estimate of what we've at least had confirmed so far. 2 is what I know for sure. I think we've at least had another one though, so 3 to 6, I think. Could be wrong though. I think I'm right. Somewhere in that range. All right, latest radar scan still showing not really that much of rotation remaining on this storm, which is good news. If we zoom back out real quick, again, this is where the severe weather is also ongoing back down in Arkansas. We've had some pretty strong storms down this direction. They have weakened as they get closer to the Mississippi Valley, or excuse me, Mississippi Valley. I keep saying Mississippi Valley. Mississippi River. That's the region where we're starting to see some storms kind of fizzle out there. But this is another cluster of storms that could produce some severe weather as well. Damaging winds up to 60, maybe a little bit of small hail as well. Brief tornado threat still in play with this area of storms. Goes just southeast of Little Rock near Interstate 530, back through El Dorado right now. And again, we have another area of storms to watch for tonight back over in East Texas. Actually, a strong storm near Paris, Texas. Maybe something to watch for here. That is a pretty, I mean, it's not discrete, but it's definitely a bit more separated from the other storms. So back over in Northeast Texas, there's actually a little bit of some strong storm activity there. So watch that closely in case we get any warnings there. Oh, there's a special weather statement. So at least for right now, 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts and up to nickel-sized hails possible there. We'll monitor that to see if anything does develop there, because that's actually in my coverage area on North Texas Weather Center. Further to the north, we're going to stay on the tornado warning back over in southwest Kentucky for the next few minutes and see if anything does evolve out of this, because this has been an ongoing tornado warning cell for a little over an hour now. So it's been a warning that has started, by the way, all the way back down here. That's where the rotation began and has now moved all the way through this. I mean, that's like the track of what we've seen so far with this tornado warning. Has had strong rotation as well for quite some time. So hey, no problem, Shara, no problem at all. Glad you're staying safe there in Mayfield, Kentucky. Storm just narrowly missed you too, just to your south and east. Good news, just missed you. Fort Worth is done for tonight. Anyone in the Metroplex, Dallas, Fort Worth, you are done for tonight in terms of severe weather. So yeah, you're not involved in that. Latest radar scan, we still have a couple little pockets of rotation. These are the two that we're watching. Still pretty broad right now. They're not really tight or confined right now, but we'll watch it closely as these move off to the north and east. Again, right now south of Kudawa near Eddyville, and this is the latest radar scan, really not showing much of anything anymore. It does seem like this is becoming more of just a damaging wind threat near Interstate 24 in Eddyville. So for now, it does seem like the rotation is definitely weakening here, which is good news. By the way, for those that are wondering, we do have a new mesoscale discussion. I just want to go over this as well. New mesoscale discussion was just issued recently. This is the purple little circle here. That is the new mesoscale discussion. This is going from the Storm Prediction Center here. Latest update here is some threat for locally damaging winds, and a couple of tornadoes will continue overnight. So if you're in this region from about Memphis, Tennessee, Western Tennessee, which I know we have had a couple people from that area, all the way back through the far eastern extent of Texas, there is still a possibility for severe weather overnight tonight. We could see some locally damaging winds, which means upwards of 60 to 65 miles per hour. Along with the potential for a couple of tornadoes. So those are the areas to be watching for those threats overnight tonight. So if you're in those regions, again, make sure that you're aware. Have a way to receive warnings tonight, multiple ways. Do not just use me as a reliable source, because I will not be live all night tonight, but just make sure that you are having ways to receive alerts tonight ahead of those storms, because that'll definitely be something to watch there. There's definitely a chance still for severe weather. Though these storms have not been overly organized today, it is still not out of the question. We could have some severe weather there. So that in mind. Yeah, velocities are starting to weaken out here on this Kentucky storm. We'll see how much longer this thing lasts, but it does seem like it's become very disorganized. Yeah, for those in West Tennessee, your threat for storms will likely be more overnight tonight, so probably closer to 3 a.m.-ish. Probably be a better chance for storms there in comparison to like now. So just a little heads up. I mean, if you're over in West Tennessee, bit more of an overnight concern rather than a short-term concern here within the next hour. Maybe some rain, a couple of rumbles of thunder, but it's gonna be more of an overnight threat for you. Need a beer? Okay. Mesoscale discussion is just a fancy term for a short-term forecast from the Storm Prediction Center. Yeah, I mean, mesoscale is kind of just relating to thunderstorms and whatnot, so that's pretty much what that is. All right, tornado warning has been canceled. Good news there. So we no longer have any tornado warnings. And I was kind of expecting that. The rotation really dwindled there on the latest scans. So the only warning that we have left remaining, let me change this over. Yeah, only warning that we have left remaining here is back down in southeast Arkansas for damaging winds up to 60. Only goes for another 12 minutes. After that, warnings are pretty much done for the time being. Obviously, there will be a threat overnight tonight, so tornadoes are definitely not out of the question. This is the large region still for a tornado threat. We have tornado watches up and down the Mississippi River, so the lower and mid Mississippi Valley, all the way back through parts of the southern plains are included still in tornado watches. So these go until 3 to 4 a.m. tonight. We are still talking about a possibility for overnight tornadoes. Nocturnal tornadoes will be possible tonight, so just make sure you're aware of that. A forecast? Yeah, I'll do another forecast, I think, in a minute here. Thank you, by the way, JK, as well as Dalton, K, and Shara. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Thank you guys for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome. If you've not already, again, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Like the stream, helps us get out to more people. Click the bell icon also down below. I would really appreciate it. That way you can stay updated again with the latest information on forecasts, live streams, all that sort of stuff. I know a lot of you have not clicked that bell icon along with being subscribed, so make sure to go ahead and do that down below. It takes 2 seconds. And again, you'll stay updated with the latest on the latest weather information here across the southern plains. We're getting pretty close, by the way, to 30,000 subscribers, so might get there here pretty soon. All right, let's go over to the forecast. I know a lot of you guys are wondering, will I see storms later tonight? Will I not? Will I stay dry? Will I, be able to go to bed tonight? That sort of thing. So let me kind of give you a little breakdown here over the next few minutes here on the timing and all that of the severe weather. So for right now, make sure my chair's raised here. For right now, again, this is the big overlook of the United States. So this is where the trough is. Again, you can really see the spin here on the infrared imagery with the clouds back over in the northern tier of the United States near Nebraska and South Dakota. That is where there's some snow ongoing, our winter storm, all that sort of stuff. Now, if you go back over here, this is where your cold, or actually your cold front's a bit further out here to the west. But this is the overall look at the storm activity that we have ongoing across the Mississippi Valley. Now, not all of this is storms. We have a lot of rain up this direction, along with a little bit of snow back up, actually up here in near Green Bay. And then the severe weather is all ongoing in the lower half of the United States near the lower Mississippi Valley. This will continue, by the way, into tomorrow. Don't, think this is all done with. There will be more severe weather tomorrow, and there is already an enhanced risk for severe weather for tomorrow. But for the rest of the night tonight, we do still have an ongoing enhanced risk for severe weather. That does include areas across all of Arkansas still, which I do think that threat is going down right now, especially in areas like western Arkansas, this direction. Threat is getting lower. There is still another line of storms that has just begun developing here, by the way, across Texas and as well as into eastern Oklahoma. This has the potential to pose some severe weather overnight tonight. Should be in isolated amounts, but there's a possibility there for a little bit of severe weather as that continues to track out to the east. Otherwise, slight risk of severe weather goes all the way back into Kentucky, and where we just saw that long-tracked storm that had a capability of producing a tornado for over an hour was over here in that little marginal threat. So just keep that in mind. You could see a possibility for a tornado, even if you're not in that enhanced risk or slight risk. Not out of the question, that marginal threat. Tornado threat for the rest of the night, still a possibility for a couple of tornadoes. I don't think we'll see any more strong tornadoes tonight. However, it's not out of the question if we get an organized area of storms overnight tonight. There is definitely a strong possibility that we could actually see a strong tornado. But overall, these storms have not been that organized this evening. So the thinking there is probably we will not see anything too strong overnight tonight. But again, not out of the question. We could maybe see an isolated strong tornado overnight tonight. All right, let's go through the timing, beginning with Louisiana, which overnight tonight we'll have that little area of storms back over in Texas move into northern Louisiana, kind of weaken out near Monroe. Cold front, or at least the dry line, approaches near Shreveport. This will bring the possibility for some storm activity, mostly isolated severe weather, damaging winds, maybe a couple of storms with isolated quarter-sized hail. Brief tornado is not going to be impossible overnight, and by Tuesday morning, mostly just isolated activity with maybe a little bit of rain out there still around 10 a.m. By around 10 a.m., though, there'll be another area of storms forming back over near the Gulf Coast of areas like Mississippi and Louisiana. This could potentially pose a threat for a tornado threat. I'll have more details on that here in just a second. Going back over into Arkansas for the rest of the night tonight, just unorganized storms for the most part. If any storms do become organized, though, again, severe weather is more likely with those. Eventually going closer to about 11, 12, 1 o'clock. Again, this is your line of storms coming out of Oklahoma and Texas overnight tonight. This could pose the potential for isolated severe weather, meaning isolated damaging winds, and maybe even a little bit of isolated large hail along with that. And eventually getting closer to about 2 to 3 a.m., that line moves towards areas like Little Rock, Mountain Home, and eventually go overnight in closer to tomorrow morning by around 7, 8 a.m. All the storms, for the most part, will be out of Arkansas, if not probably in far eastern Arkansas, near areas like Memphis, Jonesboro, and eventually by 8, 9 o'clock. Everyone in Arkansas should be drying out by around 9, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. All right, the big talk is obviously going to be Mississippi and Alabama. Let's first talk about the severe weather threat for tomorrow. This does get updated at, actually, it should get updated here pretty shortly. In about 22 minutes or less, the Storm Prediction Center will issue a new threat. We'll see if there's any changes there. But for right now, there is an enhanced risk of severe weather for tomorrow for a large chunk of Alabama, from central and southern Alabama through southern Mississippi along the Gulf Coast into eastern Louisiana. This is for all modes of severe weather, including damaging winds, large hail, and the potential for strong tornadoes does return tomorrow. So it doesn't just leave by any means. We will still see a possibility for a couple of strong tornadoes in that yellow hatched region that goes from eastern Louisiana back through southern Mississippi, and again, a good chunk of Alabama there from central and southern Alabama as well. So overall timing tonight, again, we'll have some storm activity along the Red River, or excuse me, I keep saying Red River, along the Mississippi River over the next few hours, but eventually overnight tonight is when that line will become a bit more organized and move into western Mississippi, and by tomorrow morning, that will start to kind of fizzle out, but some storm action will still be ongoing in central and northern Mississippi. But by tomorrow around lunchtime is when some of these discrete cells will start to pop up. These are the ones that are more concerning. These are the ones that could produce a tornado threat. Again, capable of a potential for also a couple of strong tornadoes tomorrow late morning into the afternoon hours. By 1, 2 o'clock, storm's still ongoing. Again, the highest tornado threat will be in the southern half of both states. We could still see a possibility, though, for a couple of tornadoes, even upwards of far north as areas like Florence over in Alabama, or even near Tupelo back over in northeast Mississippi. By 3, 4 o'clock, storms continue across southern Alabama. We'll still have a few more scattered in nature back north of Birmingham. And eventually by 6, 7 o'clock, storm's still ongoing. We could still see a tornado threat going through the late evening and even into the overnight hours, and eventually by 4, 5, 6 o'clock on Wednesday, most of the storm action does shift off into areas like Florida and as well as into Georgia. And this is the same thing. Let's go a little bit further off to the north into Tennessee and Kentucky. I know we have a lot of viewers there. Going back over into West Tennessee around midnight tonight, mostly just rain at that point. Some rain as well across Kentucky. Severe weather is not expected. Let me just make sure real quick. I don't have any warnings that have popped up here while I'm gone yet. So no new tornado warnings. All right, cool. So overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, again, just primarily a lot of rain here across these areas. There we go. All right. So overnight tonight, again, just a lot of rain across Kentucky, back over into western Tennessee and western Kentucky. Just rain for overnight tonight. Couple of strong to maybe isolated severe storms will exist. By tomorrow morning, it's going to be more of a line that's kind of broken from as far north as Ohio back through Mississippi. Eventually going closer to lunchtime tomorrow, that line continues to march to the east, and then eventually a couple more scattered storms possibly during the evening and maybe closer to the overnight hours. Severe weather is expected to remain limited in Tennessee and Kentucky, though, overnight. Possibility for isolated severe weather is it. And also, there's a marginal threat going into Wednesday. I won't be live most likely for this unless there's something significant, but this will be from Florida back through North Carolina. Marginal threat does exist there. So that's what we're looking at for the rest of the upcoming 48 hours. Again, we'll keep you updated with the latest if anything new does come out of any of those situations, but for now, that is the latest on those. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, that was issued for Paris, Texas. I do need to post this real quick to my Facebook, but other than that, that is the latest on the forecast. All right, we're gonna go back over to here and go back to a wide view of things real quick, and we'll stay on that here for a moment. Yep, so yeah, again, this is a lot of rain here across these states, though. A lot of rain. How's everybody doing tonight, by the way? It's almost midnight now, Central Time. How's everybody doing? Everybody have a decent day so far? Hopefully everybody had a good day. Obviously, it's been a messy day, to say the least, for those that have been impacted. But luckily, we've not seen as many tornadoes as what was possible. So that's at least some good news there. There's obviously been a couple of possibly some strong tornadoes. All right, that is posted. All right. All right, if by the way, if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat now. I've not been reading the chat for the last, like, 10 minutes, so. Hey, no problem, love. Hey, Tamara, how you doing? No problem. Hey, you're tuning in. Chilling right now, there you go. Have a great night, Virginia. Have a great night. We'll see you again soon. So yeah, again, severe weather starting to ramp up back over here actually in Texas. This is one of the first warnings. Actually, this is the first warning of the day in North Texas, in specifically North Texas, the region. Now, obviously, we've had a couple of tornado warnings earlier today back down near Carthage, I believe. Maybe even further south. I think Jasper was the area, actually, that saw the tornado warnings earlier today. So, it's the latest over there. Also, some severe storms ongoing over here as well in eastern Arkansas. So, we'll be monitoring this here for the next few minutes. That's what we got going right now. Hey, there you go. 2023 is going to be an awesome year. That's the spirit. Hasn't been off to the best start, to be honest, but hopefully it gets better from here. Happy New Year to you, too. Thank you, Jackie, for subscribing, by the way. Appreciate it. And yeah, if you're new here, by the way, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Like the video as well if you've not already. And I would appreciate it. Again, we're on the road right now to 29,000 subscribers. We're actually not too far from it. We're only 180 subscribers from 29,000. So if you're not already, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Appreciate it. All right, cool. I missed anything else here. The hook on reflectivity, where are we looking, Zero? The decent amount of, I mean, there's not a lot of hooks here, but how about here in Arkansas? Go to the high def radar again. I don't know which area you're referring to. Thunderstorms were very loud earlier. Yeah, some of these, I mean, there's been a lot of lightning with these storms, to say the least. There's been a lot of lightning. So, yeah, there's been a lot of lightning. Yeah, there's been upwards of like 500 strikes per minute across this entire region of storms. So there's been definitely a lot of lightning out there. Yeah, I appreciate you subscribing, JK. Appreciate it. All right, let me check Twitter real quick, see if we have any other updates. We have a lot of flash flood warnings, obviously ongoing in Louisiana. There's a lot of them. Again, make sure that you are turning around. Don't drown if you're on the roadways at any point tonight or tomorrow. There will definitely be some flooded roadways out there. There's been a lot of rain in Louisiana already. More is to come overnight as well. So, playing a dangerous situation there with the flash flooding potential tonight. All right, let's go back over to the velocities real quick. We'll see if there's any storms rotating. Yeah, the main storm that's severe right now is this one right here, which is severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like the radar's glitched out here. Let's go back over to the base velocity. There we go. So yeah, not a lot of rotation along this line. This is the severe thunderstorm warning near St. Charles and DeWitt. It's primarily just wind right now. No rotation along this line for now. Yeah, that could change at any time if it's ever able to become a bit more organized and matured. But for right now, it's more of just a little line or a cluster. I'll kind of call it more of a cluster right now. But that's moving off to the east. It extends from El Dorado all the way back through DeWitt, that kind of region here. That's all included right now in that little line of storms. That is, again, marching off to the north and east. It's, again, more of a cluster, but that's what we're looking at right now. Tornado watches, again, extend from East Texas all the way back through western Tennessee. Again, the possibility for a couple more tornadoes will exist overnight tonight, so I have a way to receive warnings. Again, I do recommend the Weather Channel app or a local news station app to be able to get warnings. Make sure you have notifications turned on those devices as well. They said a very large and dangerous tornado hit my town today. Trees were all over the road, so I didn't get to check damage. I hope you're all right, man. It's a close call for sure, it sounds like. It's been it was an active, like, afternoon, to say the least. This evening has not been very active. I mean, we haven't seen, it's been active in terms of a lot of lightning and whatnot, but the severe weather has been obviously a lot lower than what we saw earlier today, so. Eastern Oklahoma isn't done yet. It depends on where you are in Eastern Oklahoma, because if we go back over this direction, we do have a little line of storms developing, and I think it's more of Texas right now, but it might be up here. Yeah, there's like a little storm here. If it's possible that this does extend a bit further to the north, there's a line that developed over there in eastern North Texas. So I wouldn't be surprised if more storms do form off of that, but severe weather going to remain very isolated tonight, so I wouldn't expect anything too substantial there. The only storm activity right now in Oklahoma is this one right now near Red Oak, so that's about it though. Very minimal storm, just a strong storm if anything, maybe a little bit of small hail. Other than that, our only other warning is actually in North Texas, believe it or not. Outside of the tornado watches that we have ongoing, this is for quarter-sized hail near Paris, Texas. And this is an area that's seen some tornadoes recently, by the way. Back on December 11th, that event, this brought a couple of tornadoes over this direction, a couple of strong ones, actually, to the northwest side of this county. So it's been an area that's gotten hit by some pretty severe storms the past month. How did my Christmas go? It went well. It went well. It was a good couple days off there. I didn't make any forecasts then, so good couple days off. It was good to spend time with the family and whatnot. Yours was well as well. Y'all hear about the new Twister movie that's coming out? Not sure if anybody else heard about it. It's apparently coming out, I think, in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. It'll be interesting to watch. I remember watching the first Twister movie like 8 years ago. It's been like such a long time since I watched the first one. Let's go back over to Arkansas for a brief moment here. Yeah, Indiana's good. Hey, Haley, how you doing? West Tennessee will be an overnight threat, so probably after 2 a.m. tonight is the best chance for severe weather. Over that direction, it's gonna be more of an overnight threat tonight. Check this real quick. I'm gonna stay up for the next Storm Prediction Center update for tomorrow's severe weather event. That comes out in about 8 minutes, so if you guys want to stay tuned for that, feel free to. I'll still be covering severe weather here, but next update from the Storm Prediction Center should be coming in the next 10 to 15 minutes regarding the possibility for severe weather tomorrow, which there's obviously an enhanced risk right now, so it'll be interesting to see what they end up saying for tomorrow in terms of severe weather. I'm guessing they've been pretty busy though with what has already happened with today's event, so we'll see if they actually issue it right on time or not. Let's see. Not sure when they issued it yesterday. I'll take a look real quick. By the way, today was the first day of the year that we had tornado watches. It's only the second day of the year, which is kind of crazy. All right, so yeah, we should get an update on tomorrow's risk at any time. Yesterday was at 11:48 p.m. Central, so we should get an update on that here within the next, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes. No problem, Bo. Rachel, there's a possibility for a couple of tornadoes, but I would say it's gonna be a lot more rain than anything. But again, you're in the tornado watch, so you gotta be mindful. There's a possibility for tornadoes. It's gonna be more of an overnight threat again. After 2 a.m. is the best chance. You might get an isolated tornado or two in that region, but it's a pretty large area. But I would definitely be mindful. Have a way to receive alerts. It's the best thing that you can do overnight, and have a plan in place before you go to bed, because that's important. When you wake up, get right to your safe place. You already have a plan, just like that. You explained something to me. Here in central Louisiana, we're in an enhanced risk. Does it go to marginal threat? Not necessarily, Chance. The timing of the threat levels from the Storm Prediction Center vary. So if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 7 a.m. when they change. I could be wrong, but I think it's like at 7 a.m. is when the day 1 goes to day 2. You know what I mean? So the enhanced risk, if it's still ongoing throughout tonight, that would be until 7 a.m. tomorrow. Then it would change over to the marginal threat. But again, I might be wrong on the 7 a.m. It might be a little bit earlier than that. It might be 6 a.m. I can't remember. But it's one of those 2 times. Is when that flops over. So, yeah. So the threat. But, I mean, the threat might go down as well. Right? All right, we got our latest update on the Storm Prediction Center. Marginal threat is actually extended further to the north. I'm not sure if this is going to show up yet on here. I don't think it will. All right, so here is the current day. This is technically tomorrow's severe weather risk. The latest update, this shifted much further to the north. The marginal threat goes all the way up into Illinois and Indiana now. I'll go ahead and show that on the screen here in just a second. But yeah, that just got posted literally right now. So I'm going to go and kind of go to that. This is right now tonight's risk still. All right, so this is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center here. And it's going to be kind of small, but kind of blow it up here. Maybe if I go over here. Yeah, there we go. So here's the latest on tomorrow's risk. It has extended further to the north. It goes up into central and eastern Illinois, back through western Indiana. And again, enhanced risk of severe weather does exist back down in Alabama and Mississippi. That's the region to watch for. For the new risk of severe weather, again, this has already been ongoing. Slight risk, I believe, has already been going up to this area. The only big change, I would say, is this marginal threat that goes all the way back through eastern Illinois and western Indiana for tomorrow. Strong tornadoes will likely be possible in this region tomorrow from the late morning through the afternoon. I do plan on being live tomorrow, so stay tuned. Again, make sure to subscribe, click the bell icon down below, and we'll keep you updated with that event for sure. Yeah, that's the latest update there. Right, okay. That is the newest details for tomorrow. Just got issued. No problem, Chance. I'm not sure if that's going to be able to be shown on here, though. I was hoping I'd be able to show that on here, but I don't think I'll be able to. Because this is the day 1 risk, which is today, and the day 2 is technically day 1 now. So, yeah, that's the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center. Again, no major changes other than the Illinois and Indiana edition. Again, before you leave, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, and click the bell icon down below as well. Again, we will likely be live tomorrow, so I'll keep you updated with the latest on all those storms and whatnot that likely going to wreak havoc across the southern half of the United States again. Strong tornadoes definitely possible again tomorrow. I would expect tomorrow might be a bit higher of a tornado threat than today. I missed a PDS tornado warning. That was probably earlier today because I was not live earlier today. I went live like 2 hours ago. We went live primarily for the tornado warning in Kentucky. That tornado warning was crazy. That was really strong rotation for a while there. Indiana tonight's fine. Tomorrow, isolated severe storms possible, especially in the southern half of the state. There's PDS tornado warnings in northern Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Northern Louisiana was the area that we had a couple, I think, of PDS tornado warnings. No current tornado warnings. No, I don't know why my thing says tornado warnings. My bad. I forgot to change that. There's only 2 severe thunderstorm warnings left. Otherwise, there's no tornado warnings left, which probably means I'm going to be ending the stream here in a moment. So, hey, good night, Alicia. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a great night. All right, with that being said, I do appreciate everybody tuning in. That was 2 hours. It was a good live stream. Again, I'll probably be live longer tomorrow if I do go live. I'm planning on being live tomorrow unless something drastically changes, but I plan on being live for a long time tomorrow. So again, make sure you're subscribed. Click the subscribe button down below. Again, make sure you have a way to receive alerts tonight. At least 2 ways. Have, like, you know, your phone ready and whatnot. Have 2 ways to receive alerts. Also, make sure, again, you're subscribed here to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below before you leave so you get notified when I go live tomorrow and whatnot. And also make sure to hit the like button down below before you leave. We're only 60 likes away from 500, so let's see if we can maybe get to near 500 before the stream ends. And if you enjoyed the stream, by the way, it's always appreciative. If you want to ever support our page above and beyond, you can become a member for as little as $2.99 a month. You can click the join button down below or the top link in the description. Helps the page out a lot. But otherwise, I do appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Really do appreciate all of you. Have a great, safe rest of your night, and we will see you guys all again possibly either tomorrow. If not, I'll see you guys again soon. Have a great, safe rest of your night. And again, have multiple ways to receive warnings because, again, possibility for all modes of severe weather will exist throughout the rest of tonight.